You could do it. I don't know what you do.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Don't Be Sour. I am here with your host, Joe Benedettini, because Joe is running this show.
Hi, guys.
He is...
Welcome to my show.
He's an hour late.
They don't know what time. It's 7 a.m. right now.
No, it's 9:05.
Yes,
he said, let's pot at 8.
We grind, all right? It's
I
7
didn't walk dude this morning because I had to rush here. I could have done 7 walks with how late you are.
I was a little late.
And then he comes and writes notes.
I was a little late. I didn't have paper and pen at my house.
You're like, I'm just in the Apple Vision. I mean,
we're going to talk
like,
about that. We're going to address that real quick. Are we good? Am I ready to go?
Yeah, this is all led by Joe. I don't have a single topic.
I know a lot of you think this is going to be polarizing. I'm actually keeping it pretty lighthearted. There's no crazy stuff in here.
Here's
only because Christian at dinner the other night said he would like to come on, and apparently Christian's a big politician now.
Huge.
Apparently all he does is watch the news. So I'm going to wait for the politics. We're going to get Christian involved.
What question did I ask him that he has had no idea about? I asked like a very, I don't know. I got to take a sip. I haven't any energy.
Mm-hmm. Same. I'm getting it right here.
Oh my gosh. I love starting my day with an energy drink.
Well, how's your week? Let's do a week overview, dude. People want to know how your week. Yeah, no, not highs and lows. Just I think the week in general. We start with, you did a wedding thing yesterday. What was that? You got all dressed up?
Yeah. So I had to put on a whole tux, and Taylor got put in a wedding dress, which actually was one of her original concepts for her wedding dress. Oh. But we're not going with a super like colorful flower wedding. But essentially, we had to be models at. It was weird, not weird, but like we had to act like we were getting married. There's a whole photo shoot, video shoot.
Yeah.
So we were a couple getting married, doing all the marriage things.
Who were the other people though?
Just me and Taylor.
No, but there were a lot of people in the background.
Oh, well, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So we were like basically doing a wedding photo shoot as if we were getting married, and it happens to be at the place where we're getting married. So part of me was like, is this going to take away from any of the experience?
Like in the office when Dwight's like, you're actually married now. Like, I'm actually ordained.
Like, I was at the front, and Taylor was like walking down the aisle in a wedding dress, and I have to, and he's like, yeah, like, act like this is the first time you're seeing her. I'm like, so, like, am I going to be wasting my emotions?
What was this for?
It was a promotion for like the event and everything. It was a good time.
Oh, okay.
It was a good time. And then after that, it was an open house where basically they kind of decorate the venue, and then a whole bunch of people, it was like hundreds of people, came in to basically like who want to have their wedding there, so they can get an idea of like it's kind of set up, and all the different vendors were like.
Does everyone that gets married there do this, or this was like a promotion y'all are doing with them?
No, I think they just do this like twice a year or something.
Oh, okay.
And then we just happen to.
We're like
discount? We're getting a good deal.
Yeah, okay.
We're getting a good deal.
That's nice.
And they just wanted the most attractive people in Houston, so
that makes sense.
Obviously,
tracks. I this week decided that, a little controversial, I might return the Apple Vision Pro headset that I talked so highly of last time.
You know what Taylor and I watched last night?
What?
Which first of all, you don't realize how old these movies are until you watch them. You're like, oh damn, this is like must come out a while ago. We're watching the original Iron Man. And bro, when he's making the digital and he's like putting the arm in, and I was like, that is what the Vision Pro.
Yeah, it is
like
cool.
if there was anything of what it's like, in the future, it'd be sick if you do crazy things. But him just like creating schematics and like breaking parts apart and putting it in, I was like,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do with it, dude.
Watch movies.
Okay, here's my problem with the Apple Vision Pro. There's nothing to do with it yet, and the things that it's really good at is media consumption, movies. But I got a 88-inch OLED TV with surround sound. I have a better TV in my living room than that thing is in my Vision Pro. So I think if you lived in New York City in a 500 square foot apartment and didn't have a living room and didn't have a place for your office and stuff, it's epic.
Well, at first I was going to go, if you live in a 500 square foot apartment, I don't think you should be spending $4,000. But I was like, actually,
in New York, that'd be $10,000 a month anyways.
But do you think, obviously, Apple, they're a little smarter than us. Like, at the meetings, someone had to go, hey, Tim, what happens when people realize that, like, once they get past the demos, like, what are they going to do? Like, what do you think their response is?
I don't know.
Because they had to have thought about this.
Yeah, I don't. Part of me is a little disappointed. It's like I used it for probably about an hour a night for like 5 nights. And by the 5th night, I'm like, I'm forcing myself. I'm like, I don't even want to.
It's definitely
just like I'm trying
a downward.
Yeah, I genuinely tried. I'm like, I'm going to use it to work, and I'm way slower. It's like I'm going to use it to edit, and I'm way slower. There's just not a lot to do on it, and I don't know. And it's too expensive. That's the problem. If it was $800 or $1,000 and there wasn't anything to do on it, all right, I'll keep it. But $4,200 and there's nothing to do on it.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, okay, 3-part question.
Yeah.
1, do you think a second version will come out in 12 months? Or do you
No,
think
I bet
longer?
it's 24 months.
Okay.
I bet it's a 2-year cycle.
Part 2 of the question, do you think that before the second one comes out, there will be substantially more things to do?
Yeah.
Or is it just going to be like
I'm kind
more
of thinking
demos?
right now, like, so Apple has a pretty chill, like Apple actually has probably the best return policy. They have 15-day, no questions asked, return anything you buy at their store as long as it's not damaged. They don't care. What?
Really?
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, look, there probably will, 6 months from now, I might want to buy another one. When there's more apps, I might be like, I'm getting another Vision Pro. But why have a $4,000 paperweight on my desk for 6 months? Like, I'll just turn it back in, and then if it becomes really cool in the next 6 months, I'll go buy another one.
How much does a Porsche GT3 RS weigh?
Way?
Yeah.
I want to say like 3,400 or something like that.
You have a 3,400 something pound paperweight.
No, I drove it this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, I got 800 miles on it now. I've been driving it.
I think you actually used the Apple Vision Pro more than your Porsche.
Time, yeah, probably.
Here's something
Yeah.
exciting. I might convert and get a MacBook.
That was next up on my fucking list here, dude.
Yeah.
And you could return it after 15 days if you didn't like it.
Yeah, but if I say that out loud, that means I'm kind of scamming them. But I just
But
want to
see
try it
that
out.
that's a laptop. You will use that.
The only
as
time I've ever
intended.
used a Mac was,
Use mine a couple times.
I mean, but for like a tiny bit thing. So back in 6th grade, which is in the prehistoric era for a lot of you people,
1994.
they did this kind of, I don't know if schools ever really like leaned into this, but back in Virginia in 6th grade, they started this new program where they gave all of the students, 6th graders. Yeah. No, it was in high school. They started in 9th grade.
Okay.
They started high school. They gave them laptops.
We didn't get that.
Yeah, and they were Apple laptops.
Definitely didn't get
Yeah,
that.
and they were like the old ones, old ones.
Like thick plastic ones.
Yeah, and so everyone had these Apple laptops, and at the school they had like the clear color ones, like the old
Big, yeah. No,
tube
our school
boob
didn't
tubes.
have any money.
So
We were broke.
I experienced them when I would. My school didn't do it, but I like experienced it with my friends. But I've never really. I've probably spent like 35 minutes on a Mac.
They're so much better. They're for productivity. It's like people want to talk shit, and I'm somebody that like I have probably spent well over $100,000 on MacBooks and stuff, and I've also probably spent well over $100,000 on gaming PCs. So like I feel like I have a pretty even. Like some people are like really team this way or team this way. Like I have both. I will say right now I think the Mac is a more productive device. For work, the Mac is a better device nonstop.
Here's a question. Most people have an iPhone because everyone has an iPhone.
Yeah.
But why? But I would say more people have PCs.
It's the gap is closing, but there's been specific things that are just better on Windows. For like if you do 99% of your work on Excel, there is Excel on the Mac, but like you're probably going to lean towards Windows. Any kind of AutoCAD work, anything that's like very government's forced to use Windows. I mean, there's a lot of things that
But why hasn't Apple been like,
they're starting to.
all these things are the reason that people don't use ours? Why don't we lean into
Because
that?
Apple's always gone after the like consumers and artistic types. They're not really going after the like big business.
Do you think there will ever be a point where more people are using Mac computers than Windows?
Well, no, because
and would Bill
more
Gates
people
agree with
don't
you?
use iPhones than Android. I mean, there's more Androids than iPhones by far.
Really?
And globally, yes. In
What?
the U.S., I think the iPhone is probably the winner, but globally, it's probably not even close.
I don't want to hang out with those
iPhones are pretty rare in like Asia and stuff. I don't think they're rare, but like I'm pretty sure like Android runs the game in all the other countries besides the U.S.
Why is that?
I don't know. Cheaper. I mean, that's the problem with the MacBook too. Is like you can go buy a cheap Windows laptop for $200 at Best Buy now. Like the cheapest MacBook is $1,100, I think.
Well, I'm thinking about getting a Mac just because I've the past couple years I've never had a laptop. The only last laptop I have is a Razer one that I bought like 4 years ago. But now my social media manager uses that as her main computer. She hooks it into a monitor because when I travel, I only travel for like 2 to 4 days at a time, and I usually plan ahead where it's always usually on the weekends. Maybe I'll take like a Friday or maybe even a Thursday, and like the emails that I would need to get to, like I can simply do those on an iPad or a phone. So I never need to do any like deep work for all these trips. So I've never needed a laptop. And when I want to edit videos, I just film ahead of time. So then when I'm there, I don't need to be like editing. And the biggest reason why I don't like laptops is ever since for the past 7 years, I have used no smaller similar to my penis, no smaller than 28 inches of a screen size, and dual. So going to a 15, 16...
Yeah, but there's gestures and stuff. You'll figure it out.
I hate that the timeline is like this big.
I promise you, right? Well, first off, you can plug wild here, but Macs actually do work with monitors, so you can plug it into the same monitor.
Joe, I'm going to Miami this weekend. Let me borrow your MacBook.
No, I need it. But that's my only device. That's the problem is I use that for everything, and I already gave you my iPad. I'm gonna need that back. I am willing to venture to say that once you get a MacBook, I think that computer in that office is going away. I think your computer at home will be a gaming computer only, and you'll do all of your editing and work on that MacBook.
You're high as a kite if you think I'm going to get rid of my computer to plug in the Mac. Now, listen, I think I think the build quality, amazing. I think the sound and stuff, like the speakers, amazing.
I'm going to use them.
I think the build is I think everything about the computer is great. I just want to.
I don't use a MacBook. I never touch my MacBook. I strictly use my MacBook plugged into docks using mouse and keyboard and a monitor. So the two things that you think are great about Macs, I don't even use.
I think the biggest thing, it's not, I can get used to different interfaces. I think the number one thing is just whenever there's a program or even a game, I hate when there's something I want to do and it goes only available for Windows. So because I've experienced
Games
that.
will be the only thing now. Almost all the apps that you use are now, if anything, faster on the Mac. Like Premiere, I think actually runs better on a Mac than it does on Windows at this point.
Here's a tech question for you. Why is it so difficult or time-consuming or expensive for a game to release and then to just make it from, like, why can't you play it on a Mac?
For the most part, graphics cards. There's no graphics card in a Mac. There used to be kind of, so Macs used to be able to run a lot more games because a long time ago they had NVIDIA graphics cards in them. Then they went to AMD and some of the stuff didn't work, and now they're just pure Apple silicon. They make their own chips. So they have their own graphics engines, but it's not like a traditional GPU. They don't have a 4080 shoved in them. So a lot of the games that you're playing and stuff require like ray tracing, which just hasn't been available, or they have to use some like crazy SDK. So like the big studios don't see the need to like spend a bunch of time porting their game to work on a Mac when they're only going to get like a couple hundred Mac users.
You're telling me Apple can go into the future with Apple Vision Pro, but they can't put ray tracing in their computers?
They added it. They actually did just add ray tracing.
I just want to play Resident Evil and Path of Exile.
It's more the developers not wanting to, because there's not a huge gaming community on. If every MacBook owner was like, we're going to buy Halo when you come out with it on Mac, they probably would. But like, you're going to spend millions of dollars porting your game to work on a Mac, and then it's 20 people are going to download it. I just feel like
the fact that it's 2024 and this is still like that's like the biggest problem, I don't think it's going to come anytime soon.
So Apple did drop, I forgot what it was called, but they dropped this tool where basically you can take any game.
Oh, it starts with a G, right? I think someone said.
I don't know, but you can like run it through that compiler and technically, so like people got like Cyberpunk to work on a MacBook, and it actually
isn't
works
there like
pretty
an
well.
emulator that I could just like?
No, but like Apple built this thing where like you take the source code, pass it through, and it automatically makes it work on a Mac. And I think they did it with like GTA and stuff, and it actually looks pretty good. So that's promising for the future. Like if they can do that, then
I only want them to do that for the games that I want to play.
Someday. But again, it's like what I said about the Vision Pro. It's like it doesn't make you want to play games. I've never been on a Mac and be like, I want to play a game right now. Like
the computer that I'm on doesn't change the things I want to do with it.
Dude, I'm telling you, that Mac's gonna make you more productive. It's quicker. I'm gonna text you and you just be, oh, there it is. I don't have to get my phone out.
I'm looking forward to the texting.
AirDrop, everything just syncs together at all times. It's a beautiful world.
You know what's the last thing I'll say on this? The biggest reason why I don't want to do it is because it's like me driving around my big old Jeep, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you drive around your Porsche, there's a million other Porsches like yours out in the world. Okay, when I drive my Jeep, it's it's custom. When I go to
PC is custom.
What I'm saying is like when I bust out like the top of the line like Razor or something, the chances of like someone else having that is like lower than when you have a Mac. It's just like no
one cares.
You're a sheep.
No one cares. If I see you whip out a Razor at a coffee shop, I'm immediately like, look at this fucking pleb. He's definitely got an Android. Honestly, I'm surprised you don't have an Android. You should have an Android phone. That's. I mean, all right.
I think I'm gonna get a Mac.
You should.
I think I'm gonna try it out.
I also think top of the line Razor is like $5,500.
Yeah, it's like right around $5,000.
My MacBook Pro is like $6,500. So if you want to look at it that way, you can get a MacBook Pro up to like $8,000, I think.
I just want to get all your specs, but then one spec better.
The only thing that I didn't do was 8 terabytes. I got 4.
I don't need that much storage. You put a lot of porn on yours, and like I don't need to store all like
a couple thousand hours.
Yeah, Boner and James 09.
And speaking about technology, something else that happened this week. Besides, real quick, we have politics-wise. I'm not going to really get into it, but we got border crisis stuff going on. I don't know if you even know about that. You probably have no clue what's going on.
I saw some videos of people upset because there were potentially a plane wasn't full to its full like a customer capacity, so they put a lot of
illegal immigrants,
illegal
aliens,
I guess, on there, and people were like uproared about it.
Yeah, people are getting pretty pissed off. In a nutshell, the U.S. government currently basically just opened the floodgates at the southern border, which is not even who you think's coming across. It's not like it's just like strictly like women and children from Mexico coming across. It is like, I think primarily like military age men. I think it was like more than half is like men between the ages of 18 and 35. And honestly, not a lot of even South America, a lot of Middle Eastern, apparently a lot of Chinese people are coming across the southern border because now everyone knows you just go to Mexico and you just walk right through.
Everyone's coming to our country because they're trying to escape a worse scenario, right?
I think they just want to come to the U.S. Initially, yes. Initially, you're supposed to have an asylum claim. You're supposed to have I'm coming from a country that's in war and I need to get out of there.
Okay, so they're trying to better themselves, but I guess people are getting upset because they're not going through the standard process because that takes probably a lot of time and maybe some money.
Yeah.
And then illegal people are coming in, and then I guess we're having to pay taxes, and those people are not contributing on a tax level that we're having to basically take on the burden. Is that the overview?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because on a surface level, it'd be like, oh, people are experiencing bad scenarios. Like, why wouldn't you want to help them? But I can view the viewpoint of them, but I don't understand. The whole politics thing, bro.
The scale is a lot bigger than you think it is.
Can I ask a question?
Well, let me just put it in perspective for you. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think on a good day right now, like a good day is like 5,000 people a day coming across the border.
That's a lot of people.
A day. And that's like good day. I think it's like a couple 100,000 a month.
This is a serious question.
Yeah.
Where do people who are crossing over the border, like, do they have immediate like locations to go, or like where do they go?
So if they get caught, it used to be they'd send them back, or they'd put them in like a holding tank, basically, and then give them like a claim ticket. I don't exactly know. Basically, the way it's supposed to work.
Sounds like the Hunger Games,
or at
bro.
least under Trump, they would send them back. You wait in Mexico. We'll give you a date that you'll have a trial, and we'll decide if we're going to let you in. You go back to Mexico and wait until we're.
Okay.
Now, they basically get a date here, but I guess the problem is they just don't go to the court date. So now you come across the border. I say, hey, that was naughty of you. Don't do that. But you come back on the 15th of next month to this court, and we'll hear your claims.
Wait, so they would say like hang out in America for a month?
Basically, yeah. And they're basically like, here's a cell phone, and here's your date. Go have fun. We'll see you on the 15th, and then you just never come back, and we don't have any way to get you. So that's basically the problem right now. Is like they just know, and that's the ones that even like go through that process. 90% of them, I mean, like there's videos, there's just gaps in they'll literally just walk across. Texas governor has decided to just start shipping them to state because like for the longest time, we live in Texas, so we see it the worst. For the longest time, basically like New York and like Washington and stuff were like, stop bitching, like y'all are inhumane, help these people, blah, blah. Over the last couple of years, our governor has just been, or months, I guess, has been shipping them to like New York. So they're like busing hundreds of immigrants to New York City and stuff.
Is a big problem overpopulation, or is that not a concern?
I mean,
is it too many people? Is that not?
It's like our infrastructure's not set up for that.
Okay, is that on the lower of things that people are bothered by?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's on the lower, shouldn't, and again, I think there's just so many problems going on.
Now it's a national security problem. Now we're more concerned that like how many terrorists are walking across the border that we don't even know are here now.
Well, if the reason that they're crossing the border without going through the due diligence or the regular process is because of X, Y, and Z, shouldn't the government just look at the process and not like make it maybe drastically easier, but like revisit and be like, okay, if people are going around that and just coming in and this causing all those problems, why don't we like make it maybe easier, but there's like a lot more like, hey, you come in and like you need to do this now, and it's
because we can't handle the amount of people who come in. That's the problem. We're set up for X, and now we have a whole different...
I can see how just like I can understand how it could cause a problem, but I feel like there's always solutions to problems.
Well, the crazy part is like, so we started shipping them to like New York City. Within like 2 days, New York City's like, this is a crisis. Oh my God, it's the worst thing. Like they went from like, shut up Texas, like y'all don't actually have a problem, stop being assholes. We started sending migrants to New York, and now all of a sudden they're like, this is an emergency.
To do what in New York?
We don't know, but don't come to I guess that's the thing is like everyone expects Texas to just take on the whole burden. If there's 2 million illegal immigrants come across the border, everyone's like, this Texas is a problem.
Oh.
It's like, no, it's the United States problem. So our governor started shipping them to different parts of the U.S.
So people can experience other like
but like within 2 fucking hours, New York City's like, hold on, we're not cool with this. We don't like that. And it's like, what do you mean? Y'all were saying this was cool. Same with like, I think like Martha's Vineyard, like they polled everybody and they're all like, oh, this is a great thing. Like let all the immigrants in. And then we shipped a couple buses there and immediately like, this can't happen here. Like you can't be here. It's like everyone doesn't have a problem with it until it's on your front doorstep. And it's like, oh, this is crazy.
I think that applies
I
to
think
a lot
my
of
only
things.
concern is national security. It is how many people are coming across that Chinese spies.
Or
and
like want to
Middle East,
hurt America. In some way.
Exactly. Like,
But that's the thing is I would gamble that a much higher percent of people are not terrorists.
no.
So the problem is the thing is like look at it and
There's
how do we I don't know.
As okay, look at it this way. As max shooting,
Yeah.
if you wanted to go live in Marbella,
Sounds nice.
you still have to do something to do that. You
Yes.
cannot just fucking take a boat to Marbella, get off the boat, say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to start putting my kids in your school and I'm going to hang out here.
If I live in cash, I can.
No,
right, if I live-
you still can't do that.
I could figure it out a way.
I think that's the problem. It's like all the other countries are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And it's like, if this was happening to y'all, I mean, you're talking millions of people a year coming into your country that aren't supposed to be there and that we're not accounting for and we don't have any traceability on. It's kind of a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Every other country would immediately shut this shit down, but we're just kind of like, it's okay.
I'm not saying I understand how to fix all these problems, but I definitely
Like shut down the border.
I definitely view it as there's probably an angle that isn't,
Well, and then so finally, technically, like states have the ability. So if the federal government's failing to do its job, the state has the right to step in and do it.
That's what Texas is doing, right?
So Texas decided, hey, y'all are failing at your job. And now I guess the gray area on this is like, that statute is like, if the federal government's not doing its job, you can step in and do it. And now the argument is the federal government saying, hey, we are doing our job. And we're like, no, you're not. So, but yeah, now we're in this weird standoff where like Biden has told us to stop or we're going to, there's be repercussions or whatever. And our governor's like, no, we're not stopping. We're kind of like on this weird brink of like a civil war here. Because I'm like, what are y'all going to do? Like, you're going to send troops in? Like, what?
I heard, and again, I'm just a freaking headline reader because I don't know anything
Yeah.
about what's going on in the world. That this is not like Texas is going to do this, but like, or could that we might go back to being our own country.
No, we're not doing that.
I don't know.
They wouldn't let that happen. We could though.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. I get ragged on a lot for my lack of political knowledge, and I want to be also frank. Is like when I'm like, oh, is Stalin still alive? And you're like, no, he's been dead. And people are like, Mac's a fucking idiot, dude. Like, I understand. I make jokes, and I think like I can't make like I lean into like my ignorance of it. But here's the thing. Like, if you guys watch my last YouTube video and our discussion about the underwear, about wearing underwear when you sleep, can you wear it? And then I talk about like, what's the threshold of, okay, it can be 24 hours. What if you do it at an extra hour or an extra hour? Like, what is the cap, right? Mm-hmm. My view on the whole politics thing is, like, what would make the world, because there's some people that like live in the politics all day, every day, can't do anything about it, but they're just so knowledgeable about it and they just want to get, like their whole life is getting angry or happy about what's happening in politics. Whereas I'm someone of like, I read relative headlines to understand I understand there's things going on overseas. I understand I understand people are coming in the border, but like, how deep does everyone need to go? Is it, okay, don't just read headlines. I'm like, okay, I understand that. Maybe read, do I need to, every topic that comes out, should I spend 1 hour? And then do I go a little bit depth? Like, how knowledgeable on it do I need to go to appease the world?
Well,
like,
now we have this problem too. I was talking to you about dinner the other night, but like,
because Joe, if you're going so balls deep into politics, I'm not saying you should be ignorant about the world, but like, I got also things that are going, I understand things are going on in the world, but I also have things that are going on in Max's world that like I need to spend time in. Like, besides just reading headlines and a little bit of information, I can't spend all day deep diving and doing MLA format essays on politics.
Even if you do, which I'm starting to learn now, even if you do have time to do that, everything news used to be the news. Now it's all fucking opinion pieces. So I don't even know how you educate yourself.
It's subjective.
Yeah. So now you got to watch all the news because otherwise you only get one side of it. And even then, I still don't know. So if the news, let's just say the news that you're supposed to believe, right? This is supposed to be factual. They spin a story, which I think we all learned with COVID, maybe not the most reliable source of trust. They give you X amount of information, and then you say, okay, now I know about it. And then you see somewhere else something completely contradictory, and now you're like, all right, fuck, now I got to do some extra research. I guess my point is like, I don't even know how you would feel confident that you've even learned about a topic, because it used to be someone would tell you something and you'd be like, oh, let me Google that and see if it's true. Now I can Google it and like maybe I find an article that's also from someone that thinks that way or this way. It's like I don't know where the facts are anymore because everyone just puts their fucking opinion on it. So now it's like it's almost impossible to not be misinformed. It's almost impossible to not be ignorant because like you might think you know everything about a topic, but you might be learning it from somebody that has no fucking clue and you really can't decipher.
Well, and you could get a lot of, let's say, Twitter's where a lot of people get a lot of their news because it happens in like real time, and there's a lot of things that like whether it be an attack on something like, and we get that news like immediately, but there's also a lot of like stuff I'll see and it'll be like, oh, this crazy thing happened, and I could take that information and then close out the app and then go and be angry about this or happy about this, and then 1 hour later it could be like, you know, community notes could be like, this is a video from 6 years ago, whatever, but I never saw that.
That's what
I never saw that.
But then people look at you like, oh, you're so uninformed, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like I watched the news. I did my own research. I just got it from sources that weren't fucking right. But those sources used to be, that's the problem is like if CNN, NBC, all these news agencies are all fucking making shit up. It's like, I don't even know where you go.
Do you want to
go to the truth? No, that's a different.
I'll tell you where I get all of my news.
Twitter.
No. And actually, I don't, because the politics stuff, I kind of like, I don't listen to all of it, and people are going to be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Philip DeFranco, which I think is a very conservative, I don't know, but he does every single day. If people know who it is, he's a news guy, but he does like, you know, current events, things around the world, or whatever, and government stuff. And he puts out 5 videos a week. And like, that's essentially where I get like, but I don't like take the information that he says and think of it as factual of what he says. Cause it's still, I don't think he tries to put his opinion too heavily into it. He's just stating what's happening, but that's essentially like Twitter and that. And if people are like, oh, that's why you're this. I'm like, what do you want me to go to get the freaking newspaper?
Even then, what if the guy writing the article has a little bit of a different spin? That's where my thing is like, I don't even know what you.
So that's the thing is like, the last thing I'll say on this is like, for anyone who gets so upset because a person they've never actually met before doesn't know a piece of information that they know, be like, tell me where you get yours. How much time do you spend, and I'll match that.
Yeah.
You can't win, dude.
We're still in the this week topic.
And last thing.
Yeah, keep going.
Why, Matt? You know, you're pretty much a shut up and dribble person.
Yeah.
Why can't I'm trying to shut up and like make YouTube videos and cool content. Why do people come to me for my political view and get mad? Like you want maxes?
This is a little controversial too, but so I follow this guy on Instagram called Goob. He like calls out fitness.
Goob?
Yeah, it's like Goob YouTube.
Okay.
He's honestly probably my favorite person on Instagram now. But he got for a while and he kept like saying shut the fuck up because he had these people that would comment on every video like, why haven't you called out Israel? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm a fucking guy that critiques fitness people. I don't know what's going on there. Like, why do I have to, in every video, why haven't you done this yet? And he's like, what? I'm not doing, like, it's not my fucking place. It has nothing to do with me. That's how I feel about all this shit. I'm like, it's not, I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm out of it. It's not, I'm a car YouTuber. On this, I'll get a little bit more into it, but like on my actual like content, like, no, I'm not fucking coming out swinging about this and that. Like, no.
Even if you're super informed, if people are, I'm assuming I know there's like majority, there's pretty much like the right and the left, and then there's like other things, but most people are either right or left. Yeah. And if I read a whole lot of things that are right and have this view, then I'm just going to piss off all the people who are left. Or if I'm left, then people are going to piss off right.
Pretty much.
Where I'm just like, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, like very polarizing.
Let's create a new news channel where we only discuss facts.
Let's do it.
All facts, no printer.
.com. I'm going to buy that domain right now. We talked about Putin briefly in the last one, and a couple Ukrainian people got real mad at me, and then a couple Russians were like, hey, you're cool.
Oh, but wait.
Yeah, what?
Someone sent this to me.
Yeah.
I think it was my brother. He sent me a news article that...
Space?
No, that someone got...
Yes.
Deleted.
Yeah. The guy, his main opposition, that's been in jail for a while for like a bullshit claim, Putin put him in jail. He just dropped dead the other day. I actually don't think that Putin intentionally killed him because the timing doesn't help Putin at all. Like he has an election coming up right on the heels of the Tucker interview. I think the guy just randomly did actually die because everyone's like, oh, they killed him while he's in jail. I think he probably died because apparently they tried to poison him multiple times while he's been in jail. Like this guy's been through hell. Like he's been in jail for,
How do they document that they've tried to poison him?
I think he's made claims. I don't know. But I actually don't think they said we're gonna kill him tomorrow, I think he did just randomly die from the like being in a fucking labor camp and not probably being like proper food and stuff, and tried to be poisoned a couple times. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for them to kill him at the timing right now. It looks really bad for Putin. If anything, I don't think they probably didn't want him to die right now. But yeah, his main opposition just He also, I don't know if he did it yet or he's planning on, but apparently they're going Dr. Evil style, and they're putting
frickin' lasers on frickin' dolphins.
Space nuclear weapon that's apparently a satellite killer and jammer, and now everyone's freaking out about it because apparently they can take down our satellites and intercept messages and fuck with the internet.
They can take down our satellites. We won't get any dish TV.
Pretty much. So now Russia's on the naughty list again. I think they've always been, but apparently now they're fucking with shit they shouldn't be doing. Anything else to add on Russia?
No, because I still just can't understand how like we live in a world where like it's like we all live on the same floating orb in the sky, and just people on the opposite side or on the same side if you're a flat earther, on the same plane. But like it's almost like, why are people so mad at other? I just don't get it, bro. I just don't.
It's a battle for world domination. It's like we said in the other thing. If you're the biggest sour candy company, and then you see there's other sour candy companies, and there's a finite amount of resources, like don't you want to make sure you get all the resources before they do?
Yeah, but not in an evil way.
Yeah, but it ends up turning into that. Because now replace the sour candy with like human lives, and your humans in your country are dependent on you. And if you don't get those resources, they're all going to die.
Joe just made an analogy of
you're a golden doodle right now.
Yeah. See, I understood that.
Yeah. So I mean, I get it. It's like the world superpowers always are competing for who has the most power and who can fucking have the upper hand. But yeah,
it's who's got
my
the
dad
biggest
said
wiener.
the other day. It was like, at this point, we all have enough nukes to fucking destroy the Earth 20 times over. Like at this point, it's just a game until somebody hits the button, and then all of it's going to shit.
Shouldn't we be more stressed that like there's all these big old things that could blow up a whole lot of things that are just sitting? It's like, don't you worry that like, what happens if like a fire starts in that building, or like what happens?
That's not how that works.
What?
They're in protected silos and they have to be armed and shit. They don't just fucking blow up.
Fire can
They
make
don't
anything
just go off.
explode.
It just goes off for like no reason.
You ever seen an accident, Joe?
And they're also kind of non-popular. It's like they're holding nukes in downtown Houston. Like they're usually out in fields in Montana and shit. So
That's what they want you to think. They're actually underneath our cities, man. The rats live down there, and the atomic bombs are down there.
We also saw Sora this week.
Yep, AI.
Which is, I think, probably the most dangerous thing I've ever seen on the internet. I think that's the first time that I've seen a new technology and was like, they should stop that. That should be stopped right now. That is dangerous. I mean,
Joe Benedettini getting hit in the face with 100 hot dogs, with one of them going up his nose.
yeah, I mean, that is, I think if they do allow that to be a public facing like technology, they're going to really have to like neuter it down.
All the words, no boobs, no wiener.
I mean, so we saw what happened with Taylor Swift with the nudes that weren't really her, which also, let me point out, that's been happening for years. Everyone was okay with it. Happened to Taylor Swift one time, and all of a sudden Congress is like, must be stopped. We got to fix this. Anyway.
Everyone's a Swiftie.
Yeah.
We got to protect her.
Video, you can imagine where that's going to go for that side of it, but also even like, I mean, you're talking about photorealistic videos in a matter of seconds. Mm-hmm. I mean, your entire Instagram feed could be all AI. I mean, think about people that are like, we already know people that are posting fucking every 30 minutes trying to get followers. They'll just post like bullshit videos. Like now imagine AI just posting nonstop every day, just different video. You won't even know it's real anymore.
Yeah, but can you stop the future of technology?
I don't think so, but I'm telling you right now, like that is going to replace Hollywood. Not replace them, but like your VFX guys are going away. Like once that's good enough where you just give it a text prompt and it does it, like you don't need VFX guys anymore.
New York City explosion because Godzilla came through.
Story blocks, that's gone.
I love story blocks.
You don't need it anymore.
That's why they're the
I can
sponsor
get
of today's.
All of my B-roll from AI and I don't even need to license it. Great. I don't have to pay for B-roll. I just generate it from AI.
Oh, DJI won't need drones anymore. It's like I need drone of cold
they
Chicago.
Demoed a fucking drone shot of an island and like it stuff's off. If you look, like hands are a little weird. And, like
I saw the girl walking and there's like her legs were like little noodles. Like,
but again, this is the worst it'll ever be. Like it's just gonna keep. I don't know. That one's dangerous. I feel like you could have politicians doing stuff they didn't do. It's gonna be misinformation. Is gonna go through the fucking roof when you can just type in like Donald Trump punching a baby or something, and like now you're gonna have people. I don't know where that's gonna.
Why would you want to see that?
No, but as a political opponent, I would love to post that video.
Why don't they just make it be like no matter what video it creates,
Watermark.
there's a watermark across the
But
whole
then someone's
thing.
going to remove the watermark. I don't know. They're going to have to be real careful. I think that's why it's like a beta only. They're going to have to limit the shit out of it to make it like only generate puppies doing things. I think that's where it's going to land.
So on a tech side, how would they do that?
I don't.
They either
think
don't
can.
release it or they do. Like,
I have no clue. But I'm just like that is. I mean, some of it is like I can't tell. Like there's puppies in snow and the snow's like falling off their faces and stuff, and I'm like, how in the hell? And apparently, I don't know. I haven't seen the underlying like what's doing it, but from what I've been seeing, apparently it's generating it pretty quick. Like apparently it's like rendering a minute-long video in like 10 minutes, which is impressive.
From a nerd level, if I type in, like this app would be like, dog or golden doodle running through the snow with its tongue out and, trees in the background.
Yeah.
How is it making that so fast? Like, what is it doing?
If I had to guess, it's taking reference images and potentially even reference images from other videos and then generating a new frame between those. So if I had to guess, it's taking, all right, here's two puppies playing in the snow, here's two puppies playing in the snow. Now generate a new image between each one that evolves between them, and then that's your video. That's the only thing I can think of, because it's just doing the same thing. I think it's still doing like photorealistic generation, just frame by frame. So 24 frames a second, just a lot more of them. But I don't know how it's doing it so goddamn well.
Do you think the guy who was like the final one to work on like the demo or like to present it
was
was like,
holy shit.
Yo, Ronnie, come look at this shit I figured out.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we've had photorealistic AI generation for a while now, so they're just taking that and generating frame by frame. But I don't know.
Why are people so worried about the video when Photoshop has existed forever, which you can just make photos that are faked, but no one's been losing. You could make Donald Trump, what do you say, punching babies?
Yeah.
You could make that
a photo
in
from
Photoshop.
It's not a photorealistic video. I mean, technically, yes, a very good VFX artist could probably pull this off right now, but they're not going to. Now, any little kid in the world can just type something in and get a fucking video real quick. That's the dangerous side of it.
They should just
and
make
then you
it
plug that into one of these like AI bots that like on Twitter where like, all right, now you have an AI bot that goes and generates its own videos and posts them every 30 seconds. And now the internet is just flooded with AI content.
You could create a bot that's like create evil videos every 3 hours
and post them on Instagram. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Our social media is going to have some way to tell AI videos from non, because your whole feed will just be fucking AI videos and you won't even know it. That's where I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do about this.
Here's the thing too. What if people create like videos of your significant other like cheating on you, and then they're like, that didn't happen, and they're like, what? There's the video. It's right there.
Yeah.
How do you prove it wasn't?
Scams are getting. I mean, they already doing
God.
the Bangladesh scam callers are already using like AI voices to like emulate someone in your family. Because like my grandma, she got scammed. Sorry, I feel really bad about that. I feel like it's kind of my fault a little bit, but she got scammed and they didn't even have my voice. They just said like, oh, we're at the doctor and he like messed up his mouth or whatever. And she was like, can I talk to him? And then they had some guy that was like acting like my mouth was messed up. And she was like, oh, okay. But now you could use AI, especially for us being on like this. There's enough of our voice to train an AI model to sound exactly like me. So now they can call my grandma with my voice and have it get money and all kinds of stuff.
They better not.
They're going to do it.
Yeah, the future is pretty wild, bro.
The other thing that we saw this week is, so when Biden took office, he put in a mandate.
Is this more politics?
A little bit. This goes into the next topic, though.
People are going to hate me, man.
No. So Biden, when he went into office, he put a mandate. He said that by 2030...
Mandate's like a rule.
Yeah. Okay. By 2030, that 67, I believe it was, you can feel free to fact check me, percent of all vehicles sold in the U.S. were going to have to be electric.
Nice.
That has backfired pretty hard. All the auto manufacturers have basically sent letters to the White House saying we don't want to do this anymore because they're not fucking selling. Chevy's electric, so electric vehicle sales, I think across the board are down 10% this year. I think after everyone saw the issues in California and the hours of waiting to get a charger, and then with the power grid freezing and no one being able to, all these issues. So they're down 10%. The Chevy, Ford, all those companies are like, please stop this, because I think they're getting like grants and stuff to build the cars, but no one's buying the cars. So like the electric sales are just shit for all these companies. So finally, though, it sounds like this week, I don't think he did it yet, but it sounds like he's going to remove that mandate, or they're going to push it to like 2040 or something.
SRT's come back, baby.
Well, that brought the topic of, why do you want an electric Jeep?
It's okay.
I think electric vehicles are...
Here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, there's a Grand Wagoneer S is what they're calling it. And it is a 100% electric vehicle that's coming out the end of this year, and it is their fast car. It's like 0 to 60 in like 3.5 or
But
something.
it's not a cert.
It's not.
It's actually weird to me they didn't call it a cert. Like they're not even going to put the cert badge on it.
Well, the SRT is a team of people that create that.
It's like a special racing team or something like that. Is that
Something
what it
like
is?
it's either special or street racing. It's like street racing technology or special race. So maybe it's like their team didn't create that, so it's not an SRT. The reason I want it is because I love Jeep for a lot of reasons, and I just want a faster version. I just want a fast Jeep. And if that is the Jeep that is coming out, that is a fast Jeep that has all of the technology and the comforts of the next level that I love, because I'm not, as much as people are like, oh, go get a Trackhawk, go get an SRT. Once I've leveled up in terms of like my driving comfort of like the features, I'm not going backwards.
There's no way you could leave your current Jeep for the old cert.
Yeah, no.
It would suck.
And it's like, so I'm just doing that. And it's more like, if it was gas, cool. If it's electric, cool. I don't care. And in my scenario,
You're someone that electric might work for.
yeah, for me,
Yeah.
like, and this is, I'm taking out all the like problems of electric. It's more like, I'll put a charger in my house. I still have a gas vehicle. Like for me, I just want a faster car to go to and from the office.
I think so. Electric cars are better, I think, in every way than a gas-powered car, and that's coming from someone that like I love gas-powered cars.
I want the sound
Two
in the
massive
engine.
engines. Yeah, but you can emulate that.
Yeah, true.
So you can emulate a gas-powered car with an electric car pretty goddamn close. You can't emulate an electric car with a gas, but like you cannot get the torque and the instant power that you can get. Like there's just you can get close, but at the end of the day. Which is the same reason like everything's going electric. It's just more efficient. It's easier to use. Like lawnmowers are now going electric. Like we're seeing everything go electric. They are, I think, a better technology than a combustion engine. But we ain't there yet. Maybe in 50 years, maybe. But I don't think they're there yet. I think for a couple people to own them, great. I think the issue is when you're like everyone has to own them by 2030.
Yeah, I think stuff like that is more of like, look, here's where we're going. Here's where we are. And there's going to be a lot of annoyances in between, and the only way the world can experience not all these annoyances, then we just have to live as currently for the next, like, hey, everyone living now, you'll get to experience none of this because we don't want to come out with any between. We want to go from A to C and never give you B.
That's the Apple Vision headset. Like it's going there, but it's not quite.
If you go watch Iron Man 1, and when he's built. Besides him not having a headset on, what he's doing with like the digital stuff, that is, I literally was like, that is exactly what we'll be able to do. Yeah. Exactly. You'll be able to put your arm in it.
Stuff
you'll be able to go like this.
Yeah, there's already a CAD thing where you can break it all apart. But all right, anyway, so you're going to put a charger at your house, which brings us into you're building a house.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited
building
about that.
your own house. Like you're the captain. You're doing everything that you want to do. What are some like must-haves in this house?
Okay.
Like room-wise, like what are like some, or just features?
I could talk about this for hours.
Well, just give us the like
Are we going into finances at all?
No, we're not going to go into finances, but we are going to touch on, this is your house.
Okay.
So I guess after building your house, remodeling your house and doing all the work there, like what are some things that you're like, I can't live without, or that you don't have now that you're like, I have to have in a new house?
Okay, so I bought a house. It's a large house. It's 4,600 square feet. It's on the lake. It's beautiful. And I didn't know when I bought the house that I was going to have to renovate to the level that I did. I essentially built an entire new house inside of it.
I mean, you didn't go like down to the studs, but you did a lot.
Joe, I bought a house.
Some walls.
I bought a house for $500,000, and I spent $500,000 renovating the house, which is the dumbest thing ever. But I didn't plan on doing that. It's when you start. Anyone who has never done a renovation, when you start doing one thing, you have to upgrade the other because you're like, that looks weird being old, and then you start ripping walls apart, and you realize there's damage and stuff. And so I did this whole renovation, but I'm glad that I did it because there's a lot of things you just don't realize when you're building that afterwards you're like, oh, I love this, didn't love this. Like it takes everything in me not to drop like 50 to 100 grand I wish I redid my whole backyard so much different. So I wish I'd done it differently. But now I'm just like, don't spend more money on this house besides fixing
new
things.
house.
New house.
You can do what you want.
Yeah. Okay. Modern farmhouse.
Nice.
That's definitely going to happen.
Actually, tell us the rooms first, and I'll tell you how big. What was that?
Dude senses danger. He can. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Hold up. I'm just going to go through some home gym.
Home gym in. Okay. No. I want to have a 4 to 5 car garage.
Okay.
But expanded, like not like I want it to be like oversized.
Like too deep,
Yeah, like two, just
or like maybe 2 of them too deep.
huge,
Yeah.
like big wide garage doors. But so the gym would be. I don't want a gym inside. I want it in one of the garages.
Yeah, but I still think garage is part of your square footage. So
No, it's not.
is it?
No, it's not.
I think it's covered though.
Nope. I don't think so. Garages don't count. I don't think
I
so.
like patios don't count, but I think garage counts. I think if it's attached, it counts.
Agree to disagree.
Maybe. All right. Anyway, so
Maybe it does.
We're gonna include the garages, but
I want a 4 to 5 car garage
That's
because
a big.
because I'm going to
2,000
have
square feet.
my daily driver, Taylor's daily driver.
Wait. Didn't you say you want your garage to be air conditioned?
Yes.
Then it's definitely included. Then. I
Okay.
think if it's air conditioned, it's included.
Okay. Yeah. A 4 to 5 car garage. I want a movie room.
Movie room.
We're gonna
You
have
got an office.
I want an office. I
Does
want
Taylor have an office?
no.
She might want an office.
No, if anything, she should have like a get ready room. But I think we're building that into the closet.
Okay. All right.
Because right now she has a whole room for like getting ready.
Yeah.
Because I have extra
All the
bedroom.
trophies.
Yes.
Trophy room.
A lot of trophies.
Okay.
So we're gonna have the master, and then I want essentially like an in-law suite. I basically want our primary guest bedroom to be almost like similar to our master in terms of its like size,
Yeah.
closet, the bathroom that large. Because I want, if someone needs to stay for a week or so,
Yeah.
I want it to be like a large thing.
You going big one story?
No, 2.
Just 2? Okay.
2. And then we want.
You definitely want 2 rooms on the first floor.
Yeah, it'll be the master bedroom,
Yeah,
and
you
then
can put the baby in there when
and
it's
then
a
the
baby.
main.
Yeah, I see a lot of houses now that we walk. They're like the master's on the first floor, and then all the bedrooms are on the second floor. And then it's like if you have a baby, now you got to go up and down the stairs with the baby nonstop.
Yeah, no. And then we're planning on having 3 kids, so we're gonna create.
3.
That's our cap. That's our cap.
Nice.
So we're building kind of for that. So we would have 3 upstairs bedrooms that each have their own bathroom.
Yeah.
For those kids.
1 extra room up there. Probably 4 bedrooms upstairs.
No, because by the time we have kids, it's like I don't think you would need more than 1 guest
You have a
room.
movie room.
Yes, movie room.
You have a game room with a pool table.
The pool table and stuff will be. We want that kind of like downstairs, so you could be playing pool and like be kind of near the pool outside area. So like,
So you will have a game room though.
yes,
Okay.
game room, huge, like outdoor. We want a very large covered, like almost like your dad's covered patio
Yeah.
area, but like bigger than that.
Yeah, the big sliding doors that open up the back of the house.
Here's what I'll say, man. Like this house is going to be extravagant.
I'm betting you're 7,500 square feet, 7,000 square feet.
It's gonna be. I think it'll be close to right around the 7,000, but my goal would be to around around 6.
I don't think
It's a
all that
big.
at 6.
It's gonna be a big house.
It'll be a huge house.
It'll be a big house. But I'm so excited, man.
But you got 2 acres.
1.2 acres. Same
Big
thing.
enough. Yeah, you'll have some space.
Yeah, big backyard. I want a gate to come into the house.
Yeah.
I want a circle driveway.
Are you kind of guy?
want a
you like
pergola.
the driveway and the garages are on like the side or the back, or you like garages face the front of the house kind of guy?
I think we're gonna do it kind of like. I think we're gonna have like half the garages on one side, half the garages on the other side of the house.
That's what I would do.
And I don't know how we're gonna do it. Actually,
I always like that idea because I'm like, all right, I can put the Porsche and the Ferrari in that garage, lock that door, and then mom can drive the other car on that side and not have to worry about hitting my.
yeah, it's gonna be like family cars on that one, and then I'm gonna have like my big Jeep and like the
Yeah.
gym and stuff on the other one.
Yeah. It's a way to do it.
But again, like I'm building this house to be the house. I say forever. Everyone's always like it's not gonna be forever, but like minimum like 10 to 15 years, like minimum. So that's why like I'm trying to think, and it's not like I'm trying to build this like huge mansion. I know it's gonna be like that, but I want all of the rooms to be like larger.
That was our house growing up. A lot of times now I see houses that'll be like 5,000 square feet, but then there's 7 bedrooms and they're all 10 by 10s. And it's like growing up, the first time my dad bought a bigger house, it was like huge. Like the rooms were like 10 by 25 for like each room. So like each room was just huge.
Ours is gonna be like 5 bedroom plus an office,
Yeah.
a movie room, a game room, which will probably be relatively attached
Feel
to
about
each other.
sitting areas. Never understood. I see that a lot where there's like 2 living rooms. There's a living room with a TV and then there's another living room
I don't
somewhere
like that.
else.
I don't
Yeah,
like that.
I never knew when I would use the
I don't
other.
like living rooms that don't have TVs.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, like my living room is gonna have a big old cloud couch or some cloud couch that's similar to that. Like it's gonna look nice, but also like you could chill there, and watch something, but we're probably watching the movie room.
Apparently, off topic here, you're not supposed to have a TV in your bedroom.
That's stupid.
I said the same thing, but apparently, like, it's much healthier for you to not have a TV in your bedroom. Apparently, it promotes, like, then your mind, you start thinking that, like, when you go to your bedroom, it's time to watch TV instead of it's time to, like, relax and sleep.
And do other stuff. No, I'll tell you this. My brother is actually super anti-TV, and so they don't have one. And my brother and his wife, they don't have a TV in their bedroom. So
Just
like
silent?
Well, I'll see on stories when they go to like a hotel, she'll post and be like, "Ooh, it's kind of a treat to have like I can stay in bed." But like Taylor and I do not watch TV at night in our bedroom at all. Like
I do.
The only time we would do that is like one of us is substantially more tired and like wants to go to bed maybe earlier than we normally would, and it's like, oh, we'll just put on a movie. Like
dude,
we'll put on a movie.
I'm 100%. Every night, TV's on. I watch like half of an episode of something, and I pass out. I leave the TV on all night.
No, we don't have the TV on. We watch movies out in the living room.
Yeah, I do that too.
And I'd say the main thing we use the TV for in the bedroom is like when it's like a Sunday or a Saturday morning, and like we don't have something like really pertinent. We don't have something important to do.
Yeah.
And we can like throw on like some YouTube videos and stuff, but we don't really sit and watch like movies or shows in the bed.
I don't think I could live without a TV in my bedroom.
No, I like having it.
Weird. I look at floor plans. Like when I was looking at my apartment, there was one I liked better, but there just wouldn't have been a place to hang a TV. Kind of like your house, actually, but like I wouldn't have the luxury of putting it in the ceiling because there wouldn't have been wires.
See, it's stupid, bro, because if people are like, don't put a TV in your bedroom because it's do all this, let me put a camera in there. Let me like look into their lives, what they're doing, instead of like going to their bedroom at 9 o'clock and, you know, sitting and watching TV and they're like, that's bad. They're just staying in the living room an extra hour and watching TV.
Or they're watching YouTube on their phone.
Yeah, it's, I get what you're doing,
yeah,
but I think you're just moving that somewhere else. And in mine, like it's similar to like, look at the exact same with like a credit card. People anti-credit card, it's like, if you can't control your situation, that's like another situation you need to handle. If you have a problem with like always having the TV on at night, that's an internal battle, and maybe if you need to remove it to do it. But like
I've gotten to the point I cannot sleep without a TV on.
If
it's too quiet, like I can't sleep.
Silence.
I can't do that.
If I used to be listening to music when I would sleep, like sleepy time. Drake's
That's me now. Since I moved, when I lived in my house, I always had silence. Now at the apartment, I think there's so much road noise and like sirens and stuff that I just got used to noise now.
I used to always put it on, but now if like I hate like if there's a drip or if it's like raining a little bit and I can hear the gutter like I I fixate on it. If
or
my
a fan.
No, I like the fan on, but if it has a tiny like
yeah.
It'll drive me crazy.
We're gonna have security at this house. Mm-hmm. I would assume something pretty intense.
A whole bunch of cameras, spotlights. I want to lit up one gate.
One gate. I can do a circle drive with one gate.
Because it's going to be like one gate, small drive in, and I want it double width so cars can go like
we the trees on both sides.
Yeah, I want to go in, and then it's going to like go in for a short period of time, and then it's going to open up to a circle. Like it's going to be like not like a curved driveway. It's going to be like a circle. It's like a circle. Like yeah, this is going to be extravagant.
We talked about this in Colorado with David, but we didn't get really deep in it. But zombie apocalypse, because I'm just kind of curious. Okay. Zombie apocalypse breaks out. You have your new house. You're in your house right now. Zombies everywhere. What is Max doing?
I'm going to get my recently purchased Glock.
But like, what's your long-term plan in a Walking Dead style like zombie apocalypse? What are you and the fam doing?
Okay.
You just staying in the house?
Well, first of all, we have steel doors everywhere. We have Simply Safe, which is actually the sponsor of today's. A high security system, maybe like darts. Poison
but
darts.
I mean, you gotta assume like zombie apocalypse. That's it's not coming back.
I mean, I'd either I'd
like from tomorrow on. There's not.
I'm gonna get rich or die trying. Okay, I'm gonna survive or I'm not.
I think you have to leave.
I'd get my big Jeep. I'd mow them over. Wait, are they
the big Jeep's only getting like what 200 miles?
Are they World War Z zombies or are they Walking Dead zombies?
I'm gonna say Walking Dead because World War Z zombies are not fun.
Then you just kind of walk around them.
Yeah. Yeah, the type of zombie
when they lunge,
really
you just kind of push them
plan.
over.
Yeah, because if it's like
the World War Z zombies, you're screwed.
What's the Will Smith movie?
iRobot?
No. I Am Legend?
Oh.
Those zombies don't fuck around. Those zombies are fast. Yeah, fast zombies are not cool. Slow zombies, I'm like kind of excited about this. I'm like, all right, I get to use my guns for like a week, and then after that, I'm probably like, this is sad.
After playing a lot of Resident Evil, there's definitely. I mean, there's some zombies that are infected that they can literally throw axes at you, bro.
Where would you go?
Here.
You're staying in Houston?
I've always said if a zombie apocalypse, I think I would overtake a Walmart.
I think you're not fast enough to get there in time. There's people at Walmart already. I think. Did you watch the zombie show on HBO? Last of Us?
Not yet, no.
Very good show. But I think Last of Us kind of have it down. I think the biggest threat in a zombie apocalypse is actually the other people, not the zombies. Like, I think there's a more of a likelihood that you take your family to Walmart and some redneck in Walmart shoots you before a zombie actually fucking gets you. Like, I think you have to worry about other people more than you have to worry about the zombies.
I think realistically, it's impossible. It is a hypothetical, but like I think I'd get all of my friends and family that are in a close vicinity, and I'd be like,
I'm gone.
No, I would say
I'm going to Colorado.
Let's all go to the largest, like the place that would fit, that would be the best case scenario for all of us. Because I'd rather, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go out die trying with the people I care about, and we're gonna because I care about protecting as much as I hate, talk shit about you, Joe. I'm gonna protect you, and you need me for sure. So I would want to be around and give a surviving chance with the people I care about.
See, I'm under the impression that zombies don't like cold.
I'd use Christian for bait.
Yeah, they don't like cold stuff, I think.
There's never been snow zombies?
Walking Dead. No, wait, Game of Thrones. But I'm just kind of, I don't know why in my head, I'm like, I'm going to a rural town in Colorado that backs up to a mountain or something.
How are you going to get to Colorado?
I want to say private jet, but I guess you'd have to know ahead of time. That's the problem. Once the outbreak happens, there's no gas, there's no power, there's no jets, you can't go to the airport.
My new house will have a generator, so.
Yeah, maybe I'll just come to your house. I guess that's the problem. Even the big Jeep's cool, but you get 2 miles a gallon. You're not getting very far. And your electric car's fucked. So
no,
if anything,
I think I would just stay at my house.
Yeah, but then people are gonna come out there and mess with you. I don't know, dude.
Well, now I need to install zombie-proof spikes that come up.
You should do that.
I'll build a moat.
Zombies can't swim?
I press a button.
What if zombies can swim? That is, all zombie movies kind of assume they can't swim.
Okay, I put alligators in there.
Not bad until your little kid goes in there on accident, but not.
No, it's a button I press and the moat goes down. House lifts up.
Makes sense.
I think I'd be all right.
I don't. I'm sorry, dude. I think in a survival situation, you're on the bottom of my list of people to. I would help you. You can come be helped, but
what could you do better than I could do?
Live. I don't know. I feel like I have a better chance of living longer. Maybe not. Maybe we'll find out, dude. Apparently China's working on some new viruses or something, so.
Yeah, bro. That's why, look, if the world's going to shit, I'm building this nice house so that I can get wrecked by zombies in my movie room. I'm going to go out, in my movie room.
Oh, God, what's the movie with Zombieland? Where, Bill Murray's watching a movie.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, and he's, watching a movie in his nice-ass house, and the zombie gets him.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you're screwed either way. You're done. I'd create I should probably get more GATs.
Well, then it's all right, that goes into the doomsday. Will your new house have a supply of, maybe not like a bunker, but a supply of.
A panic room or something too?
Panic room's probably not a bad idea. We had one in Colorado. The house my dad had in Colorado had a panic room. Because, you could just take any closet and put a 3-inch thick steel door on it and make it a panic room.
Here's the thing. If you have a panic room or a secret room anywhere, it's going to take everything in you not to tell people, oh, check out this cool secret room. Then it's no longer secret.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It matters if you can get there first. You're on a business trip or something. Taylor's home alone. She hears a window break. She runs into the master closet, gets in the panic room. And then usually in that panic room, you have a gun, a phone, a landline phone that can't be tampered with, a generator. Well, your house is on a generator. I guess the idea is you're somewhere safe to call the cops before something bad happens.
So now I need to install a panic room.
I would put, in a house that size, I would put something in the master closet. Put it behind your shoe closet or something.
With an 18 thick piece of steel mixed with concrete.
That was
stoncrete.
My dad had a place in Colorado, and it had in the master closet one of the shoe racks. You push on it, and it would actually open as a door, and then you go inside, and there's a steel door that would shut behind it.
That'd be some crazy shit.
I don't know if you need that or not, but on a house that size, you probably just want it anyways.
So in a smaller house?
No, I just don't expect a $300,000 house to have a
No, I
panic
wouldn't
room
do an elevator, but you would put closets above. You'd make an elevator shaft.
Honestly, you should just put an elevator, dude.
No, because I don't. Why wouldn't?
Because the house is already going to be at such a level that anyone that buys it in the future is going to expect there to be an elevator anyways.
No one's buying it.
If you do it when the house is being
kids.
built, it's probably $40,000.
You give me $40,000.
No, I'm just saying at this level of house, I would just put an elevator in it.
I'm so excited to build this house.
I know you talk about it a lot.
because there's so many things I want to do to my house. I wish I could bulldoze my house down and rebuild it on the lot, because I think they could have rebuilt it in a way.
Your current house?
Yes.
Yeah, but that whole neighborhood is. Yeah. Yeah.
When are your lease comes up in like 4 months?
I think my lease is up in July.
Oh shit, it's coming up.
Oh, shit, that is like 4 months.
Yeah.
No, it's like 5 months.
Joe keeps going back and forth on buying.
I'm
a piece
moving
of land.
back into a house. I will not live in an apartment the rest of my life, but I'm not building a house right this second. So I'm more than likely going to just re-sign my lease for another year.
I mean, to be honest, as a like,
I looked at renting houses, but they all suck.
you turned 30 this year.
I will be 30 in June.
Oh my god!
Basically July.
I mean, I can't really talk. I mean, now that I'm a house owner,
Yeah, you rented until you were what, 32?
31. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
31,
I got
32.
2 more years.
Yeah, I think like almost 32. So yeah, I'm all for it because but the only way I'm all for it is if you're like doing it with a purpose of like maximizing everything else and like not even focusing on the rent, not as like a long-term thing. But like,
Yeah, I will. I would like to build a house. I need to buy a lot, and then even if I found a perfect lot tomorrow, and said I'm breaking ground next week, which like you're not gonna have with permits and shit, it wouldn't be ready by the time my lease is up. So no matter what, I got another year in the apartment. I mean, the fastest I could probably build a house is 1 year. So, or I mean, ideally, I find a house that's like something I want and I just buy it. I mean, I actually think that's probably the better move right now instead of trying to build something custom. But
I bet
because I'm not ready to build. I'm not building a $4 million house right now. I'm maybe $1 million house would be a closer budget for me right now.
You know what's the biggest reason why I'm excited to build this house is like I'm like, if everything goes to shit,
Yeah.
I got this house.
Well, until you have to sell it, but yeah.
I'm not selling it.
Well, if everything goes to shit, you might have to.
It's gonna have a tree in the backyard. No, because I'll have the house. It's gonna be paid off.
I know we still have to pay property tax. Do you know how much property tax is going to be on that fucking house? It's a percentage of the price of the
$500
house.
a month or something?
I don't think that's right. No, it's going to be expensive. Very expensive.
No, I own the land. I don't pay tax on it.
But your electricity bill is probably going to be $2,000 a month. My electricity bill at my other house was $1,600 a month, and that was only like a 4,000 square foot house.
I'm ready for people to
though.
talk shit about the house I'm gonna build.
I mean, it'll be all right. You'll be all right.
It's gonna be
You
a
got to
home,
enjoy
man.
your money at some point. You can't just fucking. I mean, that's like what do they expect? Like, oh, you're successful, but live in a shoebox the rest of your life. We're gonna talk shit to you. Like, fuck them.
I don't give a shit about what anyone would negatively
Then
say.
people will be like, oh my god, you're wasting your money on this house when you could have invested in spy calls. It's like, dude, shut the fuck. I just want to enjoy my money. Like, get the fuck out of here.
No, I think a huge, and it's in a like this is like my own internal goals, but I think having like the house that I want to like literally start building the family and have it be designed and built for the family that I'm about to have with the person I want to create a life for. Like, I think it's this like beautiful thing, and then like to have this goal, which is like, I mean, a crazy thing, but to like have this house that is like going to be fully paid for. And just like I can just live in it, and then like I'm really, really excited about this.
So your plan right now is you're moving in the house before you have a kid.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like super timelines, but
I don't know if you can really plan that out, but yeah.
I think if everything went serendipitously, how long do you think it would take to build a house that size? A year or more?
A year from the time you start breaking ground. So you got another probably 6 months of permits and planning and everything else.
I would say at the latest,
maybe quicker, maybe 6 months.
I think at the latest spring of 2026. But
You're
I
getting
think
married in October
of 2024.
Yeah.
I'm planning on being in our current house.
2026.
Well, because at the end of the year, I'm not starting spending $1 on this house until after the wedding. So let's say we start all the planning in November, December. Let's say you break ground in spring
So you
of
and Taylor are gonna be
2025.
married for 2 years before you have a kid?
No, we're gonna start having a kid at like the end of this year.
So you're gonna move into the
try.
house after you already have a kid.
Yes,
First kid's in this current house.
Correct.
Okay, I got
Correct. And we're in a very fortunate position that we have a
you. Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, the first kid has to live in this house?
yeah,
Like, that sucks.
yeah, and like so it's like we have a beautiful home. We could
You're about to turn, your office is about to turn into a fucking
I
baby room.
told Taylor that. So my office is on the first floor, all the bedrooms upstairs, and I think Taylor was actually surprised that I was like willing to do it. I was like,
You have to.
I was like, of course. I was like, yeah, I'll take my office. I was like, I'll move everything upstairs and just put the baby room downstairs.
Well, I think just move dude's beanbag. A baby only takes up. You don't need a crib.
Yeah, but I don't want to be playing Resident Evil with the baby in the background.
You might have to, Max. Part of being a dad.
What if I turn into a streamer?
Yeah, dude, you're that guy with like in COD. You're like, shut the baby up in the background. Like that's you now. You might not have an option. That is all the topics that we had, but it seemed like last time we did this, people liked the questions, and we're going to go a little bit more in depth on the questions. So
okay,
we can run.
Yeah, we're
these.
good.
This one actually hits close to home because I am struggling with this myself. How
it's okay
do
to
you
have a small
recommend fixing bad credit? Let me just clarify real quick. Okay, so I have always had excellent credit. And also, keep in mind, there's FICO, but then there's also like Equifax or something. There's three credit scores that banks will look at. It's not just FICO. Like FICO I think is the biggest, but I think banks will look at all three. At the moment, I have excellent credit with the other two, like in the 8s, which I was actually shocked about because like, how the hell did I do
like
this?
almost the best you could possibly have.
Yeah, I think I have like a 797. The other
I think
like
900 is perfect, and pretty much
something.
no one has a 900.
Yeah. But my FICO credit score used to be a high 7. Now it is like a 650. Because when me and Max lived together, there was a zero energy bill for $43 that I didn't pay. And apparently when we moved out, there was 1 month I didn't pay. They sent the notice to my old house. I didn't get it. I don't know. Apparently for the last year, I didn't pay for this $43 bill, which now it has interest. Now it's like $47. And it went to fucking collections. Collections calls me. I look at my credit on FICO. Now it has this goddamn like
I would have lent you
payment.
$43, bro.
That's what pisses me off is it's $47. And I'm like, why? Like now my credit has been impacted. The other thing screwing me is I've opened and closed 27 car loans in less than 7 months.
Yeah.
Like my average duration of a loan is like 8 months, which does not look good for a bank. So that is why my FICO credit score is. But oddly enough, FICO is the only one that says that's a negative thing. The other two don't even mention it. So, but back to the issue. How would you go about fixing a bad credit score?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say a lot of different things, and I don't want them to come off any sort of thing. But like, the only reason you need credit is to buy shit you can't afford. Like,
borrow money.
Period. Like, there's people like me. Like, there's a lot of people out there that hopefully get your finances in order, and then you're using these tools to your benefit, right? So a negative credit score is only going to make you have a higher interest rate. Or you're not going to get approved for loans.
I'm not going to get approved more.
Right. So the way I would look at it is, I mean, but before even like, obviously, you need to improve your credit, right? But it's also like, for a period of time, I would lower my expectations of what I want to take out a loan, because it's always going to, the largest purchases anyone's going to make is going to be their house, their car, or their, the family they're, supporting, right?
Yeah. It's
not for you to buy Louis Vuitton shit, right? Or for some people it might. So first step is, and it's I don't know if it's a pretentious thing, but it's like, first step is you only need credit if you need to buy shit you can't afford. So work backwards. Well, how can you improve your life to make more money so you don't need to rely on taking loans for everything?
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I guess it's also, why is your credit score bad?
Correct.
It's like you have a bunch of debt, or you're behind on payments, or
it's like you got to analyze like how you got there. So I would work on like bettering your situation of making more money, and a lot of people take it as like easier said than done. I'm like, if you already have that mindset, you're talking to a brick wall at that point.
You can also, so I believe it's 7 years, like bad credit history stuff. I think it stays on your credit for 7 years, from what I've heard, I think.
But here's my tips. Here's my tips. The easiest way to improve your credit score would be to you literally have to go in debt to improve your credit. Like, you have to have debt to improve your credit.
It's a game system. Yeah.
So the easiest thing, if people are even like either scared about credit cards or whatever, well, the first step would be pay off your debt. You can do either the snowball or the waterfall, where basically you either
but it's not even but like that negatively affects it too. It's a fucked up system.
No matter what,
like, you have to have a little bit of debt on your credit card, because it is actually negative. Like, your credit will actually be negatively impacted if you don't use any of your credit. Like, if you have 0% usage of your credit, that's not good either.
Here's what I would do to build up. First of all, you should pay down your debt. Snowball it, or you could do the other technique. Snowballing is like, basically you just take, it doesn't matter the interest rates, you just take the smallest debt and you pay that off. Then you go to the next debt and you pay that off. It doesn't matter if there's one that's higher debt. That's just one method of paying your debt off. And there's other ones of paying it equally, or starting with the biggest one first. So A lot of different methods. Obviously, pay off your credit, and then work on and figuring out how you got in that situation, and also figure out how can I improve my financial situation. But those are bigger topics. But with credit cards and stuff, obviously I'm all for, treat it like a debit card, pay it off in full, all these things. But some people are still like, I just can't do that. Like, I'm gonna overbuy things. Get a credit card, because a lot of times, like, your total credit is gonna, like, if you have a lot of open credit potential, don't quote me on this, but I believe that helps your overall credit. Like, if you have a lot of credit limit total, but the bank does, or the credit cards don't care if you're paying off $1,000 a month or $50 a month. So sometimes you could open a credit card, put your cell phone bill on it, and that's the only thing you put on there. Have it on auto pay, $50, $100 a month, and the only thing that credit card is doing is paying off your credit card or paying off your phone bill, and then you're auto paying it, and just over time it builds up. It's not a quick fix, no matter what.
No
one.
Listen, I think negative credit. So we learned this with we had a friend that ended up in a bad situation where he had to get out of a lease and they wouldn't let him out, and he finally just said, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna walk away and let him go after my credit. And we had a lawyer, and again, this might not be right, so don't fucking quote me here, but we had a lawyer that was like, yeah, it's basically like 7 years. Like 7 years from now, that will fall off your credit. So, like, don't pay it. Don't answer the phone. Let them send it to collections. Don't worry about it. And 7 years from now, it won't even affect your credit anymore.
Terrible angle.
Well, it's because in his situation, he physically could not afford to get out of the lease. So it was either he had to pay it monthly, and he couldn't afford. He could not live in that apartment anymore. So that was basically the first thing was, like, you're young, you don't really need credit right now, anyways. Just walk away, which is probably not good advice, but that's what.
This is why it's so important for people who, before you get in that situation, is to start doing things as early as possible to build your credit. And I've been pro credit cards long before I ever started feeling like I was really financially secure. Like, I've always been good at managing my money since I was.
That, like, I pay off my credit card every month.
Yes,
I've never rolled a negative balance on a credit card. But see, I think that's not good for your credit either. I think technically you're supposed to hold a little bit of credit card debt.
Whatever the reasoning of why you would do that, I would say no.
I don't. It's like the game of, like, to get good credit, you need to have debt, and it's like I don't like that. Because here's the weird thing. I think credit should be based on some kind of, like, spend factor, because I have, for example, my dad's somebody that uses a lot of his credit because with the business and stuff, we have multi-million-dollar machines and stuff or a lot of it is, so his name's tied to all kinds of shit. But everything's always paid up, everything's always good, and there's a fuck ton of money flowing to the banks and stuff, and the banks love us. But then I have family members that make 60 grand a year, never fucking spend more than 10 grand at a time, blah, blah, and their credit score is way higher than my dad's. And it's like, I don't understand how you could be a billionaire building your own economies and you have a worse credit score than, like, some college kid that's just, like, paying off his Honda Civic all day. And it's like, I think the credit score system needs to kind of go away or be changed or something, because there's definitely. It's like you're almost penalized. It's like you're penalized if you have too much debt, but you're also penalized if you don't at least have one account open. And it's like this whole.
And it's glamorized because credit cards, like, what do they say when you get approved for a credit card? Congratulations, your credit limit has increased. Congratulations, you can have more debt if you want. Like, you can spend 20 grand a month if you want. You can pay for FICO. I think that's where it gets weird too. Is like now, like, there's a FICO credit score, but then you can, like, I think you can, like, pay FICO for, like, detailed reports and analysis. It's like I should not be able to pay. It's kind of like getting off topic here. It's kind of like Carfax. Like, Carfax has the power to fuck up your sale on your car, but then you can pay Carfax to do other stuff. It's like if Carfax reports something happened to your car but it didn't happen, they're not liable. So if you go to trade in your Jeep and they say, hey, the Carfax is bad, it says you got in an accident last year, and you're like, no, I didn't, that never happened. Carfax is not liable at all. You can call them and say, hey, this never happened, and they're like, oh, sorry, we messed up. Yeah.
But the dealerships use that goddamn Carfax as, like, a truth source no matter what, even if it's not. That's my problem with FICO too. Is like FICO can make a mistake or look at something incorrectly. There's nothing you can do to change it. But a bank will look at that and be like, oh, we're not giving you a loan now. And it's like, why does that matter?
My view on, like, just credit cards and everything is, like, I get the whole, look at Dave Ramsey. You know who Dave Ramsey is?
I've seen, like, 1 or 2 videos. Yeah.
Guy doesn't have much hair, but he's very, 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 very anti-debt credit card. He's like, buy everything in full, or pay off your loan as fast as possible, or your mortgage as fast as possible. Don't carry debt. And it's that there's a whole lot of different segments of people that, like, one financial like plan does not apply to every single person or even a 50%, 50%. So it's not as easy as just like everyone should have a credit card or no one should have a credit card. It's everyone has their own financial journey, and it's about being self-aware of who you are and your spending habits. Because from my perspective, it's easy for me to say, just don't buy things you can't afford. Because even it's people always like look at maybe my life now and say it's like easy for you. But I'm like, this is how I thought when I was making $500 a month, like at a 21-year-old or 20-year-old, I made only up to $10 an hour I worked at the same place from 15 to 23. And I went from $6 an hour to $10 an hour. Even with inflation, what is that, up to 15? So it's like I wasn't making very much money, and I lived very frugally, but I never went into debt because I always paid off my bills. So it's easy for me to say, don't buy things you can't afford,
Well, and I live that way too. I never.
But a lot of people just can't.
I know. No, I'm saying like for stuff that you want though. Like I've never used a firm or any of that. I've never been the kind of guy that's like, oh, I want to buy a boosted board. Let me finance it over 2 years. I always thought that was weird. Or even furniture. I always thought that was really weird when people were like financing their furniture.
But now,
like, why?
Bro, I looked at that Apple MacBook.
Well, see, that I was about to say, the first product outside of a car that I've ever financed in my life was last year. My new MacBook is financed on a credit, because if you have the Apple credit card, 0% for 14 months.
Yeah, so I'd have to look into it. But the 0%, because I can take that $4,000, put it in a high interest savings account or stocks or whatever, and I can, even if you're putting in a high interest savings account, and let's say you're even making $20 a month off of that $4,000, or you'd make a little bit more than that. But like, it's almost like it's some people look at it as like, oh, that's dumb. Like you're trying to maximize everything, but it's like almost it's zero interest.
It's a business thing too. It's like that laptop is making me money, so it's no different from me financing a piece of machinery.
Bro, I financed when I the day before I moved into my house, the entire AC system I found out needed to be replaced the day before. It was a $30,000 like, oh, you moving tomorrow? It's $30,000 to replace all of it. Which was, I'm glad I did, because now it's like I don't have to worry about it. But I put that, I think now it's paid off, it was 18 months, but I put that, they had a 0% interest like thing to do it on. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Yeah. I put it on auto pay to pay the exact, you take the total, divide it by how many months, you set that amount as the auto pay, and you don't have to think about it.
I would tell you, if you're going to buy a MacBook, I would definitely get the Apple credit card, because also the Apple credit card gives you 3% cash back on Apple products. And when you finance it, you get the cash back up front. So technically, if you really want to get into it, you're going to get 3% back on that laptop immediately, and you can take that and go invest that in the high yield savings as well. So like, it's kind of a no-brainer on the Apple product to get the Apple credit card, because there's no fee either. It's free to get the card. Get the card, finance the laptop on it, and then just auto pay it.
Oh yeah.
And you get 3% back.
Oh yeah, because you're financing it. Yeah, then you're paying it off with a credit card, which you're making cash back on. You
get it up front.
Oh,
like Apple will give you the cash back on the entire. You get 3% cash back on the $5,000 laptop up front.
See, and I look at this and go, oh, that's a no-brainer. Even like take out the like, oh, that's kind of like you're just trying to scrape pennies. You're kind of being cheap of like maximizing everything. But like, you would think everyone would take advantage of that, but some people do it and they still screw it up, right? They still go into a debt in it, and that's why I'm more like, look at your financial like.
Well, yeah, okay, so
it's
what
so
we just said
important
about
to talk
this laptop,
about finances.
Smart, in my opinion, especially if you make money with your laptop. Don't do this with the Vision Pro. You ain't gonna make money with that. See, that's the problem here is like, I feel like someone listens to this and they're like, oh, I'll just get the Vision Pro on the 0% financing. I'm like, yeah, but that's a toy. See, that's where I think I draw the line. I will not finance a toy. Yeah. Besides a car. I guess the cars are kind of a toy too. But like, that's where I would say like, that's where I never understood people who are like, oh, I got this new electric bike financed. Like, what? You're going to ride it 2 times, put it in the garage, and now you have all this debt.
I think what's unique about the way that I view everything is I think people take my opinions on finances stuff, and then they maybe look at like that I'm doing well, and they think my opinion is only because I'm doing well, when I've been this same mindset like since day one before I made any money. So I think that's helped me get to this point, but I still have the same view of I just don't buy things I can't afford. I don't overreach, dude. I love talk. God, I love.
All right, look. Well, just as far as the bad credit thing goes, I'm assuming it's FICO, because that's what 99% of people are looking at. Go either Experian.com or Credit Karma. It will give you it's free. It'll give you a detailed report on why your credit is negatively impacted and all the stuff that's in your name, and just start fixing that. Well, and then also know that I paid that stupid $47 bill, and it still shows up. So I think there is some stuff that like, even if you fix it, you're just gonna have to wait a year or two, because it takes a while for that shit to fall off.
And one more last comment I'll say is that, and this is something I have not researched very much, and I'm sure there's ways that this could go bad, but I think there's ways to do it. Is like there's actually, do your own research on this because I don't know about it, but like there are debt consolidation companies that basically if you owe 30 grand across 3 credit cards, they'll basically buy the debt from those credit cards, and they'll basically tell the credit cards, be like, we'll buy all of it, but and like you basically would pay $25,000. Like they'll lower it and you pay it to one person. I don't know the depths of that, but there are ways to do that.
I don't even know if debt plays in. Like this guy may have just missed 2 payments or something like I did. Now, like if that's the case, I don't think you really can. I think you just have to play the game for the next couple of years.
Everyone should learn as early as possible about being financially literate and responsible.
Well, and definitely if you're listening to this right now and you're under the age of 20, you don't have a credit card, for example, one of my cousins just never got a credit card, and now he's 25 and has no credit. And now he's to the point where like he needs to buy a new car and he needs to go rent an apartment and stuff. And now he's never had a credit. Like, never had any loan, never had anything.
I think I was like, I was under the age of like 23 before I got a credit card.
See, I think my dad was like, "You're getting a credit card at like 20."
Mine was under 25. I can't remember when I first got it, but I remember. Yeah, it was probably a Capital One or something.
Yeah. But it was never like to put a bunch of shit. I was always just like pay it off every month, and I've just kept that. But yeah, I think the first, like, just make sure you get, because you don't want to be 30 years old with no credit.
Correct.
Then you're not doing shit.
Or you go the angle of don't get any credit cards and just try to figure out a way in life to make so much money that you have to buy everything in
apartments won't even like it's. I don't think you can rent an apartment without credit.
Yeah, it's a shitty
that's
system.
The problem now is like you have to have some form of credit.
But that's why, listen, like life is literally a game.
Yeah.
And it's how you play the game. And, there are people have different rules for their lives. Politicians can do different things, but like, here's what cards you were dealt. How can you maximize what you're doing with the game? And because it's annoying with the whole credit, it's annoying you have to have it. But if that's the reality of the world that we live in, maximize where you can.
Yeah, everyone's always like, oh, in the Black Mirror episodes, like we're going to go to that someday where like you have like the social credit score over your head and stuff. I'm like, dude, we already lived. Like that's how the banks work right now. Like you live your credit score, whether you know it or not, like runs every factor of your fucking life right now. You just don't see it. That kind of brings us to the next question. Does money truly buy happiness? As somebody that had no money and now has some money, it's complicated.
It is very complicated. I think the short answer is like, I think money amplifies the person that they already were or they were going to be. I think if you were a shitty person with no money, you're going to be a shitty person when you have a lot of money. If you're a good person, I think you're going to be a good person. I think for me, I do think it can bring happiness, but not. I think it brings happiness in the fact that, here's an example. I talked to Taylor about this, and I say that I'm super fortunate, and I always use these words like fortunate and blessed, but I really do feel this way, of knowing that I am about to start a family and knowing that financial burden is not going to be a stress factor. So I think that the stress of, once you can afford to pay your bills and go out to eat at a restaurant when you want to. You don't have to like think about your money when, you don't have to be like, oh, I ate out at a restaurant yesterday. I shouldn't go. And I've been there, and it's about being smart. But when you can like, get the things you want at the grocery store, pay your bills, and you don't have to stress about that. I think that can bring happiness, because I think the stress of money is a huge thing, and I've been there. And so being at a point now where like when you can do the things you want to do, when you're not trying to level up to like, I don't care about flying on a private jet and having Bugattis and all these things, but like when you can afford the things you want, I think that's where like this, when you take the stress off the plate, I think it can bring happiness there, because I think financial stress plays a huge factor in a lot of people's depression and everything. So yeah, I would say it brings happiness in the fact you don't have to stress about it. But as far as like just more money bringing happiness,
I know a lot of very rich people that are not happy. So,
and I promise you, whatever number you have in your head, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, $1 million in your bank, whatever that number is to you, of like, when I achieve this, it's going to change my life. You're going to get to that point, and I hope everyone does. And you're going to get to it, and you're going to go, okay. I had a lot of financial goals when I started these businesses, of just like, like having that amount of money, right? And I remember seeing it and then going, oh my God, okay, now when I hit this number, and then I've hit that number, and I look at it and I go, like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what do I do? I'm not going and buying more shit. It's like, what do you do? So unless you're wanting to change your life, I think no. They say that it used to be like $70,000 a year. Everything over 70, it doesn't make you happier. Then it was like 120, and then I heard another number of like
200 now, but
yeah, I would if there's a certain number that once you get beyond that, unless you're trying to drastically level up your life, it doesn't bring any more happiness. If anything, literally mo money, mo problems. Because for you to get to big money, there's a lot of work or risk, or like no one just like happily, stress-free, no controversy, or like gets to a large wealth. Like unless you inherit it, and that impacts the person.
Yeah.
But like you don't just accumulate a large amount of money without a lot of potentially negative things, whether it be how people view you, how you view yourself, how much you've aged and stressed, how much time, how much things you sacrificed, how much people you've potentially hurt or like pushed relationships out to get to that point. You know, there's no easy road to becoming a very wealthy and individual. You had to sacrifice something along the way. So
I think money buys convenience.
Yes.
And then the convenience, depending on what you do. I think if anything, money probably buys time. And if you use that time correctly, then I would equate that to happiness.
Yeah, and that's what I use it at. And that's what also I start like opening my mind up to, is like the convenience and the comfort of things, is because at a certain point I'll still catch myself like I'll like do things that I would have done 8 years ago, but I don't need to do anymore. But I'm still in this mindset of how I remember having no money. So now I'm like, oh, I don't want to, that's a waste of money. But now I'm like, not like blowing it weirdly, but like, it's almost like, what's the point of having more money and doing all the work to get there if you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor? If you don't, the thing I look at is, yesterday I had to go to meet Taylor. Like when I get Ubers, I get the nicer Uber, and as little as that.
Yeah, but I will. So one time when I moved to my apartment, I had Chipotle DoorDashed, and the Chipotle is a quarter mile away. Not even.
Yeah, that's kind of lazy.
0.1. I did it once, and I actually felt like eating the Chipotle was like, I'm a piece of shit. And since then, I will drive to the...
Do you want to know what...
There's definitely like levels where I'm like, nah, like I could afford to DoorDash Chipotle every day, but I feel like a fucking terrible human doing that.
I try, with the more wealth that I create, I try to not be out of touch and talk in a way of, like, I understand where I'm at in my life. Like, I get it, and I never want anyone to feel like I'm, like, pretentious because of that, because in my head, I'm the same guy that didn't have any money. I just have more than I had back then.
Yeah.
And I tell Taylor this all the time, and she kind of like laughs, and I've told other people, but like for me, like my experience of like, this is like what happiness of like one thing that happens that I'm like, this is what wealthy is to me. The fact that I can, when I go to the grocery store, any snack or whatever, when I open my fridge, and before it's like, if I wanted to have a bunch of different drinks, like I can have anything I want in my fridge. I can go to the grocery store and get whatever things I want and not have to think about it. Like that in my mind is going, bro, like this is wealthy to me. Having all of the ice drinks that are like $1, but I can have all the flavors I want.
Yeah.
I can have all the, protein shakes or something, or like a greens shake or something. Like that's what wealthy is to me, because there's a point when I wouldn't get all the snacks I wanted to. So it's like, what does your wealthy life look like? Some people it's buying Ferraris. Mine's going to the grocery store and getting like all the flavors of the drinks that I want.
Ferrari. Yeah, I think if you just look at it as but again, if you don't make any money, but your job's very lenient on you and you can take time off and stuff, then I'm like, I don't think money necessarily buys happiness. I saw a quote that was like, maybe money doesn't buy happiness, but I'd rather cry in my Porsche than in my Volkswagen or something like that. And like, I see both sides. I think social media has definitely embellished wealth and made it look, because all you're ever seeing on social media is the good, right? No one's ever showing you they're fucking going through a divorce and crying every night and everything else. They're just showing you like, look at my new handbag. Oh my God, life's so great.
Yeah.
And then you not being wealthy, looking at that are like, oh my God, money buys, like truly look how happy these people are. And it's like behind the scenes are fucking miserable. But
I think it buys convenience, and it takes, and the level of stress you don't have when you can afford the things that you need to buy, or simple luxuries that you want. I'm not talking about designer shit, supercars. Like that's not the world that I even live in. Like I don't want that kind of stuff, right? But what was I saying? I'm not even drinking right now.
it's early.
I think you got to figure out like what you want in your life, and you got to like work hard to get there. And when I was in college, I always joked and I said, I don't care what job I get in my life, I just want to make a lot of money. And I don't care if I would talk about this with my friends. I would be like, we would all say like, I don't care if I'm miserable at my job, whatever, hate it. If on the weekends I can do whatever I want, I don't care. And like, you don't want to be that. Money is like, you want to get to a point where like, you're happy.
Yeah.
You're happy. Like, you don't want to be miserable at your job to make a bunch of money. You want to do things in your life that bring you happiness, that also as a result of you just being happy, whether it be working for someone else or working at a job, but like, if you work at a job you hate and make a bunch of money, you're probably like pissed. Yeah. Like, it was easy for me to think before I ever got to that I would be happy. But now I'm like, I want to enjoy the things that I'm doing.
This one's definitely more directed at me, but how do we feel about dealerships charging over MSRP, which you might actually experience this with that new Jeep. That thing might end up being a little bit more of a special car than you think it is.
I think it's ridiculous.
It is, but it's a necessary evil, I think, at least on these limited production run cars. Maybe not on the Jeep, but on something like the GT3 RS, where each dealership got 2, and there's a line of 300 people trying to buy them. I definitely get it.
Well, I don't get it because, example, when Nike comes out with a shoe, they sell the shoe at $150. Now, people can buy them all up and then resell them for more money, but Nike doesn't do that. Apple doesn't do that. Hold on.
It's different, though. But
when I look at dealerships, in my mind, I see 2 different types of dealerships. I see the dealership of, like, Joe's Cars, right? But then when I look at, like, a Honda dealership or a Jeep dealership, in my mind, and I guess this isn't how it is, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that is a Jeep dealership. Like, Jeep owns that, and someone basically franchised it. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, they're buying the Jeep. So it blows my mind how Jeep would allow Jeeps to be sold to a Jeep dealership and then them mark them up. I think that's wrong.
So, all right, look, the argument here. First off, it's a franchise dealership, but
couldn't I just buy it on the website of the car that I want to buy it?
So that's another big
when you build
problem.
the car.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. It goes to one of your dealerships, and the dealership. So
no. Hold on. If I build a Jeep and it tells me the price on there, I build it on the car. I'm not building what I want and seeing if someone has it. They build it.
No, they build it, but it has to go through. A dealership has to sell it to you. Even if you build it, it's still going to go. They're going to ask which dealership you want it to be sent to.
Okay, but when it says, here's your cost, because it tells you the cost of
so
80.
Here's the loophole, and here's what the dealerships will argue is MSRP stands for
manufactured suggested retail price.
Suggested is the key word there. The manufacturer is suggesting the retail price be this amount, but the dealership can technically do whatever the fuck they want.
That's like when I sell sour strips, I tell all the dealers, I say, here's what I'm selling it to you for. Our suggested price is, $3.29, but in California, or $3.49, it's California. Some people will sell sour strips for $5, but I can step in at any time and go, if you sell it for over this price, I'm going to kick you out.
And that's what some of the manufacturers are starting to do. They're starting to crack down on them. I don't think they're doing it enough. But then you have, so we'll do an analogy for you. Then you have, let's say, the 3RS. You do 50 bags of a limited flavor with sour strips and you give it to your dealers. They're going to mark it up. There's a huge demand and no product, no supply. So why not make the extra couple $1,000 is going to be their argument. That's what the dealerships are doing. And then the other thing is like, all right, they can crack down on it, but then the dealership will just move the ball somewhere else. So Porsche could say, hey, you're not allowed to sell these cars over sticker anymore. And the dealership can just say, okay, that's fine. But then when you come in and try to buy this car, I'm going to take 50 grand off your trade. And that's where I'm going to make my 50 grand then. So I'll sell you the 3RS at $250, but I'm going to give you 50 grand for your $100,000 car in the trade because they can just move the numbers around. They're going to get it either way.
Dealerships are buying the car from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll buy them at invoice and then they can sell them for whatever they want. I get the annoyance. I think a lot of people are pissed off because they're like, these are cars that like I just want to drive. Like me, I've never profited on a Porsche. I have bought them and then I sell them back to the dealership at a price and then I get my new one. Like I'm not making any money on the Porsches. I'm not losing money either, but there's a lot of people out there that just want to buy. But I also understand that, again, there are 100 people, even at my store, willing to buy my car for $150 more than I bought it for. So as a business, yeah, I'm like, why would I sell it to that guy if there's 100 people? I guess that's the thing is everyone's like, I'm not going to pay that over. And it's like, great, you can say that, but there's 1,000 people that will. So it really doesn't matter.
I guess on a surface level, I think it's wrong. And I think that over time, I want to say that we're going to get to a point where people are just going to order the car. Like new cars, not
So that's
used.
how Tesla works.
Yeah,
Tesla, you buy it from Tesla.
I think that's the future.
The
Because
dealership unions won't let that happen, but yes, that was a much nicer. When I bought my Tesla, I will say it was very convenient. I bought it, did the paperwork, showed up, done.
Because if you're a dealership, you're putting the suggested price of like whatever you think it should cost, and you know your cost. Like the goal would be to get the most amount of people into your cars and the most amount of people to bring up your fan base essentially of that brand.
Or, I mean, they do what Ford did. So the Broncos were going for 40, 50 over for a while, and then they kind of settled out at like 20 over, 10 over. And Ford saw that, and then Ford just jacked the MSRP up so they can make more money. So now the Bronco Raptor went from 82 to 92 to 100.
Yeah.
Because Ford basically was like, all right, our dealerships, because the other thing to remember here too is like, if Porsche sells a 3RS, if the dealership sells a 3RS for 100 over sticker, Porsche as a company made none of that. The dealership made 100% of that profit.
Well,
so it doesn't benefit the manufacturer at all for this to be happening. If anything, it hurts them because people don't like it. Like people are now saying, oh, fuck Porsche, and it's not Porsche doing it, it's the dealership doing it.
I'll give you an exact situation is especially in California, we actually experienced this with sour strips where we were having a lot of issues with a lot of different distributors selling it at different prices and whatnot and people undercutting other people. And when I learned how much people were selling, the distributors were selling the candy to the stores for, I was like, that's way more than I suggested the price you sell to them. So y'all are making way more. So what I did, which actually eliminated that, is I cut down on their margin by increasing our prices to offset them ramping the price crazy up. Because I'm like, if y'all are making stupid amounts of money and it's causing so many issues, I'm not just trying to, take money from the distributors, but me adding 10 cents a bag to then everyone sells it for more of a realistic price because then no one has this giant gap of money.
And that's what Ford's doing.
And that's what, and a couple times is now I've had to set MAP, manufactured approved price. I basically had to set like prices that says like you cannot sell this bag of sour strips to a store for under this amount of money.
The problem is no matter what, as a manufacturer, they're just going to the dealerships are slimy. They're going to get around it. So again, for your analogy here, like you could say you can't sell it for anything under this, but there's nothing stopping the dealer from saying, okay, give me $1,000 cash from your store and then I'm going to sell them to you at this lower price or whatever. And you have no control over that. Or saying, I'll sell them to you at this price if you also buy $5,000 worth of Coca-Cola products first. Like they can game the system where you don't even see it, and that's what these car dealerships are going to start doing.
I see that is when another dealer basically says like, someone came in my store and tried to sell it for under the price you suggested. I found out who that dealer was, and I found out that they're selling for under what I said. You cannot sell it for under this because I'm trying to control so it doesn't screw over everyone of people undercutting. And then I'll just kick you out. Like you're done. I think it's
unfortunately for us on the very limited cars. It's same thing happens with watches. I mean, same thing happens with everything. It's just I think it's a necessary evil. A lot of people are like I don't pay over on my special cars.
I'm a fair individual. Like I want the world to be fair.
Okay, so here's what I tell people all the time.
Life ain't
people are
fair.
like, oh, like you didn't pay over for your special car, and I'm like, I did though, right? Like I bought X amount of cars and took a loss on all of them. So I'm still, people all the time, like I think at the moment my GT3 RS is probably worth about $150,000 more than I paid for it, but I've probably lost $150,000 on cars that I bought from that dealership over the course of the years to get to the point where I'm getting them at sticker. That's where I'm like, it still cost me $150,000. I just lost $20,000 per car over the last. That's where you gotta. No one gets, for example, the 3RS. No one got a 3RS at sticker. If you think you did, you didn't, because you bought 6 fucking Cayennes and stuff that all lost $20,000. You didn't get it at sticker, no matter what. So
yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
But
I think if anything, it's going to get worse.
If I went to buy my new Jeep,
it might be over
I'm
sticker.
contributing to the prop. I don't see. That's the thing. That's why I like Jeep so much, bro.
Trackhawks were over when they first came out.
You know how you joke and say like, "Oh, no one cares about Jeep." That's what's great because I love it so much. But it's such a unique little world that like we don't get into the stuff of like the G wagons and the Range Rover of the crazy cost because like people don't care about Jeep as much.
This one might. But that's what I'm saying. You might go in and they could be like, hey, we're going 20 over sticker.
I'd pay it.
But the problem is if you're like, I'm not going to do that, well, then they're like, all right, we'll go ahead and buy a Grand Wagoneer and then we'll get it for you for sticker. And then in your head, you're like, okay, I get tailored the Grand Wagoneer, now I get it at sticker, but you don't because you're going to lose fucking $30,000 on the Grand Wagoneer first year. So I guess that's where like you got to play the game. It's a necessary evil, unfortunately, I think, especially when we're talking about things that there's probably 10,000 people in the U.S. that have the money and the will to buy a 3RS, and there's 100 of them available. So
I just realized
there's gonna be a
I just realized that you say especially like I do with an X
especially
instead of especially.
I don't like that asbestos.
Especially.
We'll power through. We're all right.
Hour and
Questions
40.
are taking a while. Kanye's new album. I only listen to one song, so I can't really.
Is it the Taylor Swift song?
Yeah, it's the only one.
The
I've heard.
Carnival.
Yeah, I haven't heard any other song on that album.
Do
we like Kanye again? Is Kanye accepted back into? Internet doesn't forget, but I feel like everyone kind of forgot because I feel like Kanye
First
is
of all,
cool again.
I don't like collab albums because unless
Okay.
and this is just like a selfish thing, like unless I don't even like collab songs. Like when it's like the Weeknd, the Weeknd did a remake of the like Creepin'. It was like Creepin' on the Low.
Okay.
It's a great song.
All right.
But like I'm not the world's biggest 21 Savage fan. He's on the end of it. And when it gets to the 21 Savage part, I have to cut the song off. Like, because I'm like, I just want the Weeknd part. So it's like, I only want artists I want. So when Kanye came out with this, I don't listen to Ty Dolla $ign.
I just say I don't want to piss anybody off, but modern rap, and maybe I'm just getting old. Modern rap might be the shittiest music I've ever heard. Like when we're working out at the gym sometimes, I'm like, what in the fuck is this? It's terrible. Whoever, don't know who it is, someone cool, my bad. Whoever the last rapper is on the Carnival song might be the worst rapper I've ever heard in my life. Like I actually
Ty Dolla
want to.
$ign.
I don't think he's the last one.
It's only Ty Dolla $ign and Kanye.
No, there's like 4 different voices on that song. It's not just them. There's no way because the guy at the end sounds completely different than everybody else. Someone can comment down below. I'm telling you, like I turned the song off. I think the song's great, but right after Kanye, whoever that is the last is so fucking bad.
To answer your
I
question,
don't know how I got on the song. Like,
I only listen to Carnival. I've never really been a huge Kanye fan. I love a lot of his popular songs. Jesus Walks, a lot of the Graduation album, a lot of the. I mean, there's a lot. Flashing Lights. There's a lot of songs I do like.
Yeah.
But I've never gravitated. I never called myself a like following of when he's coming out with new music and like I probably listened to like 10 Kanye songs. So I'm just not a big Kanye music fan. And then
fair enough.
just in general, he does a lot of interesting things.
I'm just shocked that like he's cool. I guess like he's back. Now he's got his clothing thing. He was on a Super Bowl commercial. I feel like my man only took him like a year.
I mean, he's
been the most hated person in the world. We hate him. No one's gonna work with him again. Now he's back.
He's definitely someone that like. I mean, he's a big name in a.
Can't be canceled, dude.
Well, I think he's a really well respected artist when you actually come down to like.
He's gonna walk out with that MAGA hat here in the next couple of months. He's gonna come back to the.
I think he does a lot of interesting things. But like David, How to Beast, huge world's biggest Kanye fan.
I like Kanye. I don't like his newest music, but I like all the shit he ever did with like Jay-Z and stuff was fucking wonderful.
I don't know if it's because I'm listening to less music, but I almost feel like I'm like one of those old heads. It's kind of like music kind of sucks now.
I'm telling, dude, there's so many times where me and Max be working out at Alpha Lane and both of us are like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like the songs are so, they just talk. It's like rap's not even rap anymore. They just mumble and fuck. Now I sound like I'm a boomer, dude. I've officially hit the age. There's a South Park episode where like music starts sounding like actual shit. Like it starts like sounding like farts and shit. That's how I feel now. Like I'm working out in the gym and like all the younger dudes with their broccoli hair and their little dangly earrings are like, fuck yeah. And I'm just like, this is the worst song I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, and it just pissed me off. Like so I have an amazing playlist called the Potato Workout Jams. It's all like rock music, but
rock doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I know. The most recent song is probably like 30 Seconds to Mars song that came out like 7 years ago. Other than that, it's all 10-plus-year-old songs because maybe I'm just like, oh, I like what I like, but I'm like, there's no songs that sound like this anymore.
There's a couple, but yeah, I was a big
I think
Octane, Sirius XM Octane when it was around. I was big on Octane, so like Mudvayne and Disturbed and all those guys.
Yeah, you listen. I mean, they still make
that doesn't exist anymore, man. Like even if you listen to the newest stuff, like because Octane's still around, they still do like Big Guns playlists and stuff. Now rock's very like techno-y. Like now the newest metal has a lot of like EDM drums and stuff in it. And I'm like, this is weird. Or like rap. A lot of rap rock is now.
Bro,
like,
even like I listen to a lot of like the newer, or I'll try listening to like even like the new Avenged Sevenfold, Marilyn Manson,
Yeah,
and it
Korn came out with a new
it just
album,
doesn't
wasn't very
hit.
good.
And
No,
I think it's
same.
because it's like I think it's exactly like this is like the analogy of like everyone who like be like, oh, Drake, why don't you make another Take Care album? You sound like that. And he does this interview where he basically is like, it's not that, it's like people associate certain types of music with a certain point in their life. And when they hear that song or that music, they remember a time in their life, good, bad, whatever, but it does it. And because it doesn't sound like that anymore, they're at a different point in their life. So it's like, I just like older music.
No, it's bullshit. There's definitely like Like old Avenged Sevenfold was better than new Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, you're right.
But like those kind of bands, I don't think like Bring Me the Horizons. Yeah, whatever. You're not gonna have any clue what this is, but we're just gonna gloss over it real quick. Are you aware of what's happening in South Africa right now?
I will say I was at the zoo recently, and pretty much all the animals are from South Africa.
No, maybe from Africa. I mean, there are a lot of animals. I mean, Africa as a whole.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any animals that only live in South Africa. I think they just live in Africa.
That was
like lions and stuff live in Africa.
That was basically the most recent news I've had on Africa. Is that a lot of animals.
So basically, and I'm not very informed on this, but this was somebody said, "What are y'all views on?" So
no, I'm not.
South Africa was, to be fair, I think the most recent country to still have segregation and stuff. The apartheid or whatever it was.
What is that?
That was their like their getting rid of segregation thing, I think. Or maybe it was I don't fucking know. See, we're not informed. But South Africa was like a very racist country until recently. Like I think in like the last 20 years. So I think it still is. So basically South Africa is all the white people in Africa. Like Africa, I think it's predominantly African American. All the white people in Africa live in South Africa.
See, I'm so dumb. I thought you were talking about Southern Africa.
It is Southern Africa. South Africa.
In Africa.
It's the bottom of Africa, yes.
Oh, then yeah, the animal thing makes sense. At first I was like, wow, did I say I'm super dumb?
No. I'm just saying I don't think there's any animals native to South. I think they live in Africa.
Just in Africa in general. Okay.
Yeah. But basically now there's this guy
Wait, now
running.
I'm going to sound dumb because now you're like, you thought South Africa was a completely different area than Africa. I got real confused.
South Africa is Africa, just the bottom of Africa.
That's what I thought you were
Cape
saying.
Town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is, bro, Cape Town, crazy looking.
Yeah.
You ever seen, like, I didn't know, it's
Great whites and
gorgeous.
shit. Yeah, but
bro.
also a lot of big sharks out there. You don't want to go in the water.
I'm saying like the town, like the
Yeah,
area.
South Africa's beautiful. Yeah.
I saw some photos recently. I was like, oh my god.
Anyways, so racism still a thing there. Very dangerous country recently. Apparently, you don't want to be in South Africa. There's some very nice areas in there, but I think for the most part, you don't want to be in South Africa. This guy running for office. What?
Do you watch the new Curb episode? He meets a guy from Africa, and he's white, and Larry David's like, oh, you're not what I expected. You said you're African. He's like, yeah, I'm from Africa. And he's like,
South African.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically sound like Australians.
Yeah, they do.
Diane Wood, I think, is South African.
Okay.
Crazy. Anyway, there's this guy running for, I think they have a president or prime minister or something. I don't know what they have down there. But this guy, and I think he might actually win, is an African-American dude and very outspoken about eliminating anyone that, I think he's selling it as like white supremacy, but they're kind of just targeting like white people. Like they've asked this guy like point blank, like, do you support like the genocide of white people? And he's like, not out of the question. He's like, if it has to be done, it has to be done. He's like, basically he has like these rallies that are basically saying like, we're going to kill all the white people. And like, I think he might win. Like, I think he actually might win this fucking election.
I'm assuming that his thoughts probably expand to just the world in general. But what he's talking about doing is he's trying to do that
in South Africa. And there's been thousands of like white farmers and stuff that have been killed recently, like murdered.
See, I have not seen any news about this.
Yeah, well, it's actually surprising. This isn't very much. You have to look for it. Like, it's not actually being, but yes, there's been thousands of white farmers that have had people come on their land, kill them, and like murder their families and stuff. And it's kind of at the direction of this new leader that they have. I think what a lot of people think that Trump is doing is actually what this dude in South Africa, because like a lot of people will be like, Trump's racist, he's calling for you to kill. And it's like, no, he's not. It's never happened. This guy's legitimately like potentially calling for a genocide. And he might win. I think that's the crazier part is like, I think he's winning in the polls. Well, now you know, dude.
I don't even have a thought. I mean, it sounds terrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's just crazy. Like if he wins, like it's just wild to me that like
when are the
I don't even know. I don't even know if it's a president or if he's
are the elections in other areas similar to United States in terms of like 4 years or
I have no clue. That's the thing. So when we talked about Putin the other day, and I was like, I think he's like the second guy after Stalin. He's not. He's like the 10th. To be fair, I think he's the second leader in Russia that has led for more than 8 years because he's been in power for like 20. The point is, they have elections, but they can just continue to get reelected. So like Putin's been in power for like 25 years. Or something.
Right. Whereas in the United States, where they can only 2 terms.
Yeah, at most you get 8 years. You get 2 4-year
2
terms.
yeah.
I think in a lot of other countries you can just keep. So like
I think I knew.
That's the guy that just died. I think was Putin's opposing party last time.
But as everyone still voted in. by the people?
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's kind of like
You better vote for him or else.
or like the machines maybe glitched out a little bit.
Oh, do you want to vote for the recent president? Oh, no.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know how South Africa works, but I don't think it lines up with ours. But yeah, that's what's happening in South. I mean, okay, I might have butchered that. Maybe that's not happening, but that's what I've heard is happening in South Africa.
Like, where did you find this information?
The news. You got to look for it though.
What do you mean?
But like,
So you go digging for
I
news?
saw on YouTube. I saw a clip of this fucking African dude saying that like they might want a genocide against white people, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then I saw that it was like potential next leader of South Africa, and then I went down the rabbit hole and started watching all these videos.
So they would try to eradicate all.
I think he's
white
essentially
people
trying
from-
to eliminate white people from South Africa, so that he thinks that it's like a. Because I want to say that South Africans are not natives. Obviously, I don't think they're Cape Town people, or I think they are kind of in
Transplants.
Well, maybe I don't know, because I think technically everyone started it.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like some. I don't exactly know, but I think that is the. I think the thing is like they were oppressing us, so now let's oppress them, kind of thing. Because I do think, I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Like I think South Africa like still had segregation and stuff like up until the 90s. Like I think it was very recent that they stopped that. Like I think they still had like split water fountains and shit like recently. Yes.
Man.
Yeah. It may even be like early 2000s. South Africa, I think, is like the last place that racism like was still full blown active recently.
I don't have any thoughts besides sounds terrible. Not good.
All right. Here's the last one, and I'm actually very curious to see what because I have some strong thoughts on this. The new, well, it's not even new. This has been going on for a while. We've had friends that have done this. I think it hurts them. No negative views around you. If you don't agree with everything I'm saying, we can't be friends. I'm not going to even listen to you anymore. Yes men only. It's this new thing on social media where it's like, limit your circle down. Make sure no one around you has any negative thoughts about you or what you're doing. Basically, if you have the worst idea in the world and I fucking tell you it's a bad idea, fuck me, I can't be your friend anymore. You need to get people around you that support you.
Well, Joe, I've experienced this
Me too.
When I interview and chat with Christian frequently.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of his journey has been people surrounded by him who are being paid by him who are like, awesome idea, bro. That's going to crush it. Where I'm more like questioning the validity.
I know.
That. And then I get comments
that
basically say like, you're not supporting your friend. And I think it's important to like question your, I mean, even look at Christian basically told you and I that the Sour Strips logo was stupid and like, oh, you should like change it around and shift it around and fill all this. And I was almost like, I was just showing it to you, but I'm not trying to get your critique. And then you he's like, no, I think you should change it. Yeah. And because of him saying those things, we changed the logo. Like,
I think I thrive. I think if anything, I want more people around me that are doubting me and shit to help. Yeah. Either it's going to motivate me to prove them wrong, or they're actually trying to help me. I hate this fucking now mentality of like, can't say anything bad, can't critique anything. If you do, we can't be friends.
Do you think if you were a hardcore liberal and I was a hardcore conservative, could we be friends?
Yeah, I think so. I have friends that are very liberal. They just don't like when I bring up like guns and stuff. But besides that,
I probably have friends that are like anti things that I think aren't that big of a deal or something that they.
I think you should go the other way with it. I think the idea that like if you have I think there is a fine line. I think if you have a jealous friend or something like that. But even then, I'm like, good, hate on me. Let's see where this goes. I hate this new fucking thing that the internet's all about. Like, yes, girl, you can do whatever you don't let anyone tell you. It kind of goes down the other rabbit hole of like this whole like you can't critique somebody for something that maybe they need to be critiqued for. I'm a strong bring bullying back. Bullying needs to exist. Have you seen the internet recently? Bullying needs to be fucking brought back ASAP. There's some shit on there that shouldn't be on there, and people need to know about it. It kind of lines up with that. It's kind of the same fucking thing. It's like when I see, I'm not going to name any names, but it's like when I see these girls that are 600 fucking pounds, potentially on their deathbeds, not going to make it into their 30s, but every comment on every video they post, yes, girl, so beautiful, slay, don't change anything about yourself. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You're going to kill her. You're going to fucking kill this girl. And when she dies from obesity, I hope everyone that commented yes, girl, fucking gets a notice or something.
But here's another thing is, do you think that you should always open your mouth to people? Example, when I see a lot of individuals, every month to 2 months is a new business launch of a new thing.
It's my year.
And in my mind, I'm more like, hey, I think I need to have a conversation with you. Like, what is your focus? Like, you can't just start there's more in depth than the surface level of seeing it of like, oh, that didn't work, I'm going to. But like some people just like want to have like 7 businesses, and in my mind, I'm like, you can't effectively have this many businesses. Why? Like,
I think it's a fine line between being a pessimist and then
I'm a
actually
realist.
being a real. Yeah, see, that's what I tell people all the time. Like, oh, you're so pessimistic. I'm like, no, I'm just very realistic. 90% of the shit that I fucking have problems with typically are issues. So I tell Christian all the time, it's like, I hate to be the guy that's always like, I don't know if you can do that. But like a lot of the shit that I fucking brought up did actually happen and did actually become a problem. And you maybe.
Oh, an example that I've always actually said about you is that a lot of times, like, it's like if I was like saying like an event that happened or something, and I'm just like, oh, dude, you remember like when so-and-so said this thing, and like you maybe like are just trying to move the conversation along, and you're just like, yeah, like that. But like you're actually someone that it happens a lot that if I say anything that is incorrect or whatever, Joe literally like you'll tell it to him and he does this exact face. You're just like this, and then he will like immediately be like he will combat what you're saying because it's not accurate, and it's like, and I really like it.
Yeah,
I like being called on my shit. I like if I have a dumb idea, I like when you call me out on it, or if I say something that's incorrect, ignorant or something is like.
But I do think, I think you could have a friend that maybe is not your friend. I think that can happen too. I can see there being an argument of like, hey, every time I do anything, little Bobby is fucking talking shit to me, telling me I'm not going to make it, telling me like there's a difference between like bringing your friends down and like not being a yes man. There's a fine line, but there's definitely a difference. Yeah, I hate the whole like you can't fucking critique anything on the internet nowadays or you're a bad guy. There'd be times I'd be in like the background of Christian's video and he'd say something and I'd be like, I don't know about that, and there'd be comments like, bro, why do you even keep Joe around? Like he's always fucking so negative. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to be fucking useful here. I don't know. And if anything, I think it's gotten worse recently. I think now everything has to be fucking.
I think you have a very, very, very strong opinion, and like
that's why my YouTube channel was named what it was named. It was like a joke on the fact that I always have a fucking opinion,
which is great. But like, there's a reason why you're like one of my closest friends. Like it's like, and you had this like crazy thing is like I like individuals like you.
But I think a lot of Christians following looks at us and says we're like fucking negative against him and everything else. I'm like, no. If anything, I think I care about Christian. I love the dude.
Yeah.
But that is, out of all of our friends, I think I've been called out the most as being pessimistic with him. Not by him. I don't think he's ever been like, oh my God. I actually don't think Christian's ever, but by like people around and stuff will be like, oh, like Joe's always so negative about everything. It's like, I think I could have saved him a lot of fucking money actually.
Yeah. I prefer, and I know with you, I can like 100% be honest and real with you and get your honest opinion and not a fluffed opinion on it.
I don't think that's a thing nowadays. I think now everything is got to be a yes man or you're getting knocked out.
Yeah, no, that sucks.
That's like everyone's first thing on like how to be successful on social media now is like limit your circle down to people that support you. There's a difference between support and yes man.
Yeah, you don't want any like people that are trying to take advantage of you, be snaky and like take, yeah, for sure. But it's hard to find those people sometimes because they can have a veil of fakeness, like a mask on.
Snakes in the grass, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And but no, I think there's a difference, and I think it's learning what that difference is and how to like spot it. But
yeah, I don't think you should ever try to only have people around you that only tell you you're doing the right thing at all times. I think if no one around you tells you you're a fucking idiot, like once a week, you're doing something wrong.
But you also don't want people around you that only call you an idiot. Like if you give me compliments and say nice things at least once a week. So it's like if you're getting one nice thing a week, you're good.
That's all I got, dude. That's
a 2 hour
right at
pod.
2 hours, dude. I think I jotted this down in like 10 minutes while you were taking a piss.
Yeah, but you got all the topics from other people.
Why not? Make life easy.
We need to get out of the whole politics thing.
I think we're gonna have a real politics discussion with. I don't know if he wants to though. I think it'd be fun because he actually is pretty educated. I think me and him could go back and forth for a little bit. The problem is I think me and Christian's views on it are almost the same, so we wouldn't really be debating anything. I think we'd just be adding to each other. I don't think he wants to though. I don't think he wants to put a target on his back.
Well, yeah, when you start having political views, you essentially start dividing. You draw a line in the sand.
It's once you say who you're going to vote. You at dinner the other night, Max hasn't voted. You confirmed that. I don't think you voted. You were 35 years old and you have not voted in a presidential election. So technically, you would have had the last 4 you could have voted in.
I guess. And my thing would say is like I'm not informed enough to make a truly an opinion that is actually mine. And I also just, I don't know. No matter what I say, people are going to get
They're
angry.
gonna be really mad that you didn't
know.
vote. I don't know. It's also just a polarizing, like even for Christian, like owning a big company and being political is not a good mix. You got to stay the fuck out of it, I think. It didn't used to be like that. It used to be like, hey, you're voting for the giant turd. I'm voting for the douchebag. That's cool. We can get along. It wasn't until like Obama, I think, was the first election where it was like, if you didn't vote for Obama, you're racist. And then, no, that was a real thing. That actually was a thing. And then every election since then has now been like, you're voting for that guy, I'm voting for this guy. Like, let's fucking fight. I'm going to get you fired from your job. Like, I'm going to use social media to show that you voted and you're going to get fired. And it's like, I don't know where the like, holy shit, now it is it used to just be like, haha, we can get along, but we didn't vote for the same guy. Now it's like, I'm going to kill you if you didn't vote for who I voted for.
It's wild that you can like, that someone's life can be impacted based on just their, like.
If you right now came out, I'm not saying you are, I'm saying if you right now came out and said, I'm voting for Trump, I bet sales of sour strips would fucking be affected. If Christian tomorrow said, I'm voting for Biden, I bet somebody will not buy his product because they don't. Well, like we're at that point in our lives right now.
What happens is when you don't have a stance on one, you have an audience of a bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
But when you draw the line, you're going to have a 50-50 essentially. You're going to have it split. But the people that are pro the person that you voted for are 100% in you now. Like they're 100% behind you now. Whereas before, they just maybe didn't know, whatever.
It might work out.
So it's like you lose a bunch, but you actually gain a stronger. But
that was Hodge twins.
Yeah.
Everyone thought the Hodge twins were insane for fucking saying they were really hardcore Trump supporters, were going to get into politics and stuff. And I think now they're way bigger than they were. But it could have gone the other way too. They could have lost everything. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
It's a crazy world that the fact that the thing that people know the Hodge twins for the most is their political views now. When if you ask me, what's the thing you know the Hodge twins for the most? I would say, fuck out the way, man. Let me get some camera.
I don't even know that.
You don't even know?
Nah.
What if I said this? Joe, I said a lot of things in this podcast, but at the end of the day, it's just advice. That's all it is. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I don't know any of this.
If you know, you know. That's the golden era of YouTube,
I don't know.
bro.
But that's where we're at now. So maybe we won't do any more politics, but I think me, you, and Christian are doing a pod.
Yeah, I think the next pod is actually going to be, I think Shawley's going to come back on. People really like that one. I think you, me, and Shawley filming like tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm going out of town
I
this
have to work. I'm missing work right now for this. I need to go work.
Well, luckily we have the whole day, any day. So it's like we could do it at 7 o'clock at night or something.
All right.
But all right. What do you guys think of this Joe hosted podcast?
Best one yet.
See, we got to stop talking about politics because like I'm like a dead horse.
We really
this
didn't
time.
talk about.
I'm just saying in the
much.
future. I just like
This wasn't really politics. I think the thing is, if we're going to be doing these more regularly, we have to be touching on like things that happened in the week.
Yeah.
And most of the big shit that people see that happens in the week are going to be, especially as, not going to like this, but we are in an election year, so it's going to get way worse. Pretty soon, like you're not going to be able to turn on your fucking computer without getting ads and who you're voting for and all. Like it's just going to get worse and worse until November.
Well, the reason is like not only am I don't go down the rabbit hole of, to understand beyond headlines, so I'm already pissing people off there. But then it's like in my mind, I'm like I don't want to listen to a bunch of people talking about politics because I'm not as interested in it.
It's gonna be very relevant for the next 7 months.
But I don't think everyone watching it, they're probably like, just shut up about politics, or they're going, we love it.
I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. It wasn't just politics, but
I want to have a whole podcast talking about like investing money.
I don't want to be on that. So I have a friend actually.
I think you're a good person.
Is a personal investment advisor guy. He makes a lot of money doing it. He actually was like, I'd love to come on. He's just not like a famous like he wouldn't bring in any views, but it's what he does for a living, and he would be able to sit here and tell us we're idiots or you're smart.
I'd go, why do you charge 1% to essentially just invest into the S&P, VTI, VOO, and Treasury bills and stuff? Yeah, because he's making 1%.
I think that's honestly,
he's making money off of people like Christian who have no idea how his money's being invested.
I would say I love the guy. He's an awesome guy. But like, I do think that if I knew that my personal investment guy had a Ferrari, I might want to not use him as much.
Had a nicer car than you did?
Yeah, I think I want my investment guy to not have any money, because if he has a bunch of money, where are you making that money from? Or is he so good at it that he's investing his own money?
That's what you would hope. You would.
Yeah, I don't know. He offered, though, if we want to get a actual like professional finance guy on here, we could. He's just, like I say, he's not like a talks guy or something. Like, I don't know. It would probably be good for us to get someone that really fucking knows what they're talking about on here with us to correct us when we say random bullshit.
I know what I'm talking about.
we should do it with every
The
topic.
world has changed, bro. That's the thing is everyone's like, oh, you think you're smarter than someone who like professional, like is a profession in this? I'm like, the world has changed, bro. I used to work at my first internship was at Scottrade, which isn't around anymore. I think they got bought by TD Ameritrade.
Scottrade.
Yeah.
Didn't Scottrade have the little baby commercials, like Talking Baby? I think Scottrade. I think that was Scottrade.
Maybe.
It
It was like purple. No, that's E-Trade.
I don't know. Yeah, anyway.
Joe, how people used to do it. I would get a phone call. I couldn't do it because I had to transfer. I'd get a phone call. Hello, this is Max at Scottrade. Yes, I would like to purchase a couple shares of Apple. Okay, one moment.
Slip.
And no, I'd pass it to the next person, and he'd be like, okay, all right, you'd like to purchase some Apple. Okay, all right, what's your account number? Okay, what's your authorization code? Okay, you'd like to purchase 5 shares? Okay, that will be this amount. All right, just to confirm, you'd like to confirm? Yes, okay, purchase. That's not the world we fucking live in, bro.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, now the world has opened up. Now there's not even, like, there used to be fees on this shit. There used to be, like...
There still is.
A lot of it's not. But now... A lot of these things, bro. When I first started getting some money, one of my good friends, Tom, who you have not met yet, but you will meet. He's a great guy.
Yep.
He'll be at the wedding. His dad is very high up in Wells Fargo in wealth management. Like, has been doing it for 30 years, 20, like a long time.
Yeah.
And he's like, Max, go to my dad, and like my dad will like set you on the right path. I remember these conversations. I went up to their top of the huge building. Went up there. Big old corner. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time, and he talks to me about it. He's like, look, I'm gonna, super like. He's like, I'm gonna do exactly what I would do to my own son in terms of like where I'm gonna invest, whatever. And these are I remember from him saying, literally, we're like, all right, we're gonna put some money into VOO, VTI, and now, flash forward this, and like you can just buy those, and I'm like, even that was like 10 years ago, bro, and he was doing the same thing that I'm trying to tell people of just like, yeah, you just put it into long-term index funds and ETFs. That's what they're doing. Like, essentially, it's not all of it, but for what, like you can do it yourself.
I agree.
You know what pisses me off, Joe?
Yeah.
When people talk to me about how little I know about politics, and these are the same people that don't know what a fucking treasury bill is, okay?
Yeah.
And
I don't know politics either. No one fucking commenting about this, including myself, really understand the inner workings of how fucking politics works in the United States.
Like the fact that I have to explain to people like how simple a credit card is, and them going like, oh, okay. I don't sit there and call them a ignorant, idiot, stupid.
Someone
you
said that.
live your head in the sand.
Someone said you talk to your guests like they're idiots.
But that's why who you?
No, it's in the
Me?
in the thing. I said, what do you want to talk about? Someone
Sometimes
said, why
people-
does Max treat his guests like they're idiots?
Sometimes they're idiots.
I agree with that.
Specifically this one.
There are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
But I'm saying is like if people don't understand things, like I almost to them are like, wait, how do you not understand this simple thing? But I don't sit there and I don't think of less of them. I'm more like, let me help you. Same thing with politics, bro. It's like, why don't you?
I think here we get a financial guru in here with us, and then we get a politician in here with us.
Okay, we are going to get Dave Ramsey, Grant Cardone, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump all on the same podcast.
That'd be crazy.
That would be insane.
Biden's falling asleep. Trump's fucking yelling the whole time.
Did you watch my YouTube video talking about high yield savings accounts?
Yes.
No, you did.
I didn't watch it.
It's a really good video.
I'll watch it.
And you
It
know
was
what?
10 out of 10.
It's a 9 out of 10 now.
Nice.
Not one single person have commented that I'm stupid because I did a whole bunch of disclaimers.
That is my biggest thing making videos. It's like I'm always scared. Like, did I say anything wrong when I do like car video? There was one time I reviewed an M5, and the owner said it was an M5 competition, and I just took him at his word. I didn't look at the badge on the back. They're kind of hard to tell the difference. I did a whole video. I posted. Title was M5 competition. Got like 200,000 views on it, and every comment was like, "You're a fucking idiot. That's not an M5 comp." And I'm like, "God damn it."
Yeah, that's how essentially is like, especially with finances, it's like,
You just wait to see the comments. Like,
well, it's annoying because every time I talk about something, I essentially need to give every disclaimer for that specific thing. So when I'm telling people to put money into high interest savings accounts, I had to literally multiple times in the video go, this is the money, this isn't the money. Like, this is after you've already invested into stocks, already invested in your IRA, already
cover your
invested into
ass.
real estate. This is the money that is just in your bank doing nothing. You put it into every investment possible. This is just the leftover money. And there's still probably gonna be some people like, well, you should still put it in the stock market because you can get 9%.
We're getting off topic here, but there were fucking the last podcast. If you watch it back, I was very, very careful that every time I said anything about Putin, I said, he claimed. I think I even did air quotes a couple times, like he's claiming.
Yeah.
And there's still fucking people that comment, like, Joe don't know fucking shit about Putin. He'd take, why do you believe Putin? I'm like, I literally, everything I said was this is what Putin said, or this is what he's claimed. And people are still like, why are you, well, you don't know. And can't win here, dude. Can't win on the internet.
Welcome to planet Earth, Joe.
Yeah. Well, all right, dude, let's wrap this up. We're over 2 hours.
Yeah, this is a long pod. Woo. I'm probably going to cut out tons of stuff.
No, you can't. Why?
I don't know.
There's nothing to cut out.
I feel like when I had that brain fart of South Africa and Africa, people are going to call me an idiot.
No, it's fine.
It's a simple,
I might be wrong. Maybe there are animals that only live in South Africa. I think the plains in South Africa are full of
I'm saying when I was at the zoo, every animal...
Is it South Africa or Africa?
It probably just said Africa.
Yeah.
But the point I was getting at, because when you said that, I was like, oh, he's probably talking about South Africa, so I can say these Africa. But the thing I was saying about the animals is like, every time they'd be like, oh, I've never seen that before. I've never seen this like crazy looking dog or whatever. Well, there's so many animals that I'm like, well, that's a kind of cool looking, cute animal.
Okapi?
Tons of them, bro. But all of them, I'm like, where are these?
Yeah, it's always Africa.
Do you want to hear? I'm going to end this on a little note that I didn't say. The jaguar.
Jaguar?
Spotted jaguar.
Yep.
Okay. I read a little fact about it, which I think Africa, by the way, I want to say.
No. South America.
Okay. Wherever it's from. Did you know that the jaguar, if the jaguar did, it says this, and that's probably someone's going to be like, that's a headline. That basically the jaguar obviously eats a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
It said if the jaguar did not exist, all the animals that it eats, right? If those were alive, that the area that the jaguar lives and all these other animals live, the environment around it could not support, like it could not feed that amount of animals, so that the jaguar is literally necessary to eat all of those animals because the earth in that area couldn't give enough food to those animals. And I'm like, circle of life is crazy,
That's
bro.
Yellowstone with the wolves. When the wolves went extinct, the elk like fucking got to the point where they're like decimating the land. There's too many elk, nothing's eating them. So they're just fucking tearing all the grass up and everything. So they had to bring wolves back in and reintroduce wolves, because without the wolves, the whole fucking thing fell apart.
Life
the animals
is crazy.
Did. Sharks go extinct, we're all fucked. That's like the end of all of us, apparently.
Okay, I know we're going to talk about with the Shali and You podcast, bro. We're going to go deep into the planet, the earth, animals, the sea.
I like that.
Oh, I bet Shali has some thoughts on that, because I feel like
That's all I watch all day. Is
I feel like that's all he
documentaries.
watches. I feel like he watches that shit.
That's what I watch.
Oh, man.
I think I might be end this on a spicy note here. I started watching Love on the Spectrum.
Okay.
And all of the people on Love on the Spectrum, when they ask what they like, is like the zoo. They like watching documentaries about animals on the thing.
Who doesn't like that?
I'm like, I might be autistic because I love everything that y'all love. They're like, we love mac and cheese. The one of them was like, I love boobs. Honestly, I might be a little on the spectrum because I line up with, and I relate to them. They're all fucking sick dudes. So,
can you get canceled based on the guest you have on your show?
that's not a fucking bad thing to say. If anything, I'm saying yeah.
Just some of the things I say, I'm like, did that really go in your brain and come out your mouth? And that's essentially,
It came out my mouth.
Joe's just like, I like mac and cheese.
I'm just saying that when they're asked, like, because they interview them. Oh, to be fair, the show interviews them like they're not fucking human. They interview them like they're some other race or something. But all of them appreciate the same shit that I like. So I'm like, these are some cool dudes. I would hang out with these guys.
They're all people, Joe.
Nah. But if I ask most people if they like documentaries about animals, they're like, nah, why the fuck would I watch that? You would be the first, but why would I watch that?
Everyone's like, I like watching documentaries about politics. Yeah. Listen, we're going to wrap this up.
All right.
This went, I don't know, man. I always wonder, especially as a brand owner, like I have to be somewhat cautious of what I say.
You don't say anything bad ever, so you're good.
I know, but I worry that at some point this podcast is going to bite me in the ass.
I, at some point, might want to run for office, and if I do, you're going to have to delete all of these.
You're kidding me, right?
Not for like president, but like maybe like mayor or senator or something.
You're kidding me, right?
Someday. That's a side quest. That's after I'm rich and famous.
You've never told me this.
I don't know. My point is, though, I'm going to need you to delete all the podcasts. And someone right now is going to just like download them, put them in a folder somewhere. Yeah, they're already downloading them. If that ever happens. Yeah.
I mean this with all of my heart, Joe. You will never.
All right.
This is me being a...
Doubt me, dude.
Doubt you.
Doubt me. We're not friends anymore.
You are... Joe, you're never going to be a politician.
But, yeah, but like low level. I maybe just like homeowner association president.
Now you're calling all homeowner associations low level.
Yeah. I hate HOAs. Can we wrap this up?
All right, that will wrap up this episode of Don't Be Sour. Sorry it was on a Tuesday. Joe just didn't want to. We had a plan yesterday to come film this episode.
I was busy.
He decided not to come, so this is a day late.
I'm passing the torch back, dude.
Pass the torch, bro.
There you go.
New episodes, just occasionally, often. I don't know. Make sure if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're on any sort of podcast streaming service, give us a 5-star review. Don't know what it does, but I think it helps. Thank you so much for tuning in. Eat more sour strips.
Goodbye. And ever forward.
Woof!
Woof. I almost hit it.
You might as well. Today's just canceled, bro. I mean, it's already 11. Let's just go home.